All right.
Hello again, friend.
Huh?
And you are our friend. And welcome to masturbating session, where it's myself, the strongest baiter in the universe, my masturbator, and joining me today is Mentale,
Yeah.
who I have no witty line for at the moment.
Yeah. I know I'm usually late for these things, but
Well,
for once, I ain't had anything else to do.
you showed up in time.
Huh?
You showed up in time this time. So I guess that's the first.
Yep. Well,
So
actually, I got here
Mentale,
earlier.
what come again?
I said, well, actually, I got here earlier.
So Mentale, what are we talking about?
Oh, it's the latest chapter in Dragon Ball Super. Well, not just the latest chapter in Dragon Ball Super, but the Granolah arc as a whole. Some
Yeah.
good, some bad, and some what the fuck.
Well, you can ask that question when with toyotaro for a long time. But I think I've done this like granola arc stream, like I've done like a couple of them, and I've always been a little bit giving him a benefit of the doubt or throwing him these olive branches to him, saying I'm not going to make assumptions. I'm just going to let him tell whatever he's doing, and then I will like make my own thoughts on the chapter by itself. But at the reason I stopped doing like chapter by chapter reviews, or not, I'm not even going to call them reviews, chapter by chapter discussion, is simply because of the fact that we don't know where it's heading, and doing every month streams on it when you have no idea what he's going to do in the next chapter is like really annoying. And I'm not going to jump the gun with him, but I'm also not going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to jump the gun with him. But the another thing is, I've just decided, you know what? I'll let him finish whatever it is he's finishing, and then I'll give my thoughts because
And now in
what the
hindsight, I think, and by the way, now in hindsight, I think that this was a better choice because if you would have went earlier, like if you would have did it chapter by chapter, then you would have had to make a lot of theories, and then if those theories were proven wrong, yeah,
I mean, yeah, like it's just me giving him a benefit of the doubt, which never goes anywhere because he does this stupid shit that really fucking makes you feel like, what the fuck are you doing? And I've had this feeling for like quite some time. Well, I'm sure glad I waited because what the fuck is happening here?
oh, I would have
All
preferred help. I would have preferred chapter 86 as the ending, like where granola beats gas, and then basically says, "Get the fuck out of my planet." I do. I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna go to route of revenge.
just
I
a
mean, gas
second.
is almost. I mean, gas is almost dead, and like, oof.
Where shall we start? You know, like we had this. Just a second. I'm hearing complaints that you can't comment on the live chat. I don't know why.
Huh?
Thing is, like, I don't know what's going on with YouTube anymore. I'm not going to like. I would get to the point now, but now I'm finding out people can't comment in the live chat. Give me a second.
Uh,
Like, I'm not going to shit you. I was like trying to put the tags in my like YouTube studios and shit, And in
Yep.
my phone, I can't do it. So I put the tags in. Like I have to like get my laptop in and like do this annoying shit. And now people can't come. I don't understand what's going on. Just a second. This is fucking bullshit. I'm hearing complaints from like if can anyone else come into the live chat? Give me a second.
All right.
YouTube is a fucking insane website. For whoever's watching, is it happening for all of you to not comment, or is it just like a silent thing? Or who to talk to thing where he can't comment? Just a second. Oh my god, this stupid ass website. I thought Toyotaro was going to give make me insane, but apparently not. Oh, sorry, people. I didn't do it. I'll show you of that. Mental, like I'm going to start crying.
Really?
I'm going to really start crying right now.
The stream's messing up.
Yeah, apparently people can't comment for some fucking reason. Oh man. Uh, why are live chat disabled? Man, this wasn't a problem back then. Oh my god, right. Okay. You know why it wasn't happening? Because my dumbass, for for the sake of making my stream out there, I've decided to like make my video for kids, even though I'm saying a lot of fucks and shit. I thought YouTube wouldn't care, but apparently, if you make your stream for kids, you can't live chat anymore. Now you can live chat. You can try. You can start typing now. Yeah. Okay. Try typing now. I'll just put it out there too. YouTube algorithm is like the most insane, stupidest shit I've ever seen. And I don't want to go on a rant about that because I was going to start my review. But this is like the most insane thing. So you can't, if you don't make it accessible for kids, that means your video won't be out there. But if you make it accessible for your kids, they can't like people in the live chat. Can't comment. I don't. I'm at my wit's end with this. I have no idea why this fucking thing exists now.
It's YouTube for you.
I'm going to start acting like YouTube. Fuck YouTube. While I make streams. Fuck me. Anyways, you can all comment now. The reason it was disabled is because I decided to make my videos out there. I guess YouTube don't like kids looking at live chat for some reason. Anyways, should we start with the chapter now? We've already wasted like 11 minutes. Mentality.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So
All
this
right.
chapter, so the Granolah saga begins after the dreadful, most shittiest arc I've ever seen with the shittiest villain in the history of Dragon Ball Super that goes by the name Moro, and I'm going to call him the fucking stupid goat because he is a fucking stupid retarded goat, and I don't give a shit if people fucking jack him off. I know people are into furry porn, but there's no love for Moro. Fuck this fucking goat, this fucking cell wannabe, this fucking Frieza wannabe. He he can go fucking kill himself. Oh wait, he did. But so this saga, like Moro saga thing, was like it connected with the Grunda saga because like the it was like the robot that Moro ended up boarding or swallowing ended up surviving, and Grona basically stole the copying robot,
Oh no.
and that was the for a, like I'm fine with like Dragon Ball making their story more cohesive and like interconnecting the like different arcs to make it like one big giant story. But I don't think you want anything to do with fucking Moro. I know everyone seems to like that arc, but it suffers the same problems the Chrono Saga had. It started off as
Yeah.
something, then it lost the plot and became something else. And I don't know why people
Yeah.
like that arc.
Yeah. And then ended with a plot point that's so stupid. Hey,
They
I
were
get to that when I
they
get to that.
they were all jizzing when we saw Moro use Ultra Instinct, despite the fact that Ultra Instinct needs you to have a calm mind, while Moro is using Ultra Instinct while laughing like a madman. His mind was
Oh,
totally.
speaking of UI, that is one of my problems with the Granolah saga.
Oh, we'll get to that. Everyone's talking about Ultra Instinct being ruined, and we get to how the Moro saga fucked that up too. And but people somehow put the blame on. You know what? There are certain problems this saga had, which cannot be attributed to it, but to the arc preceding it, because it like the Corona saga was bound to be a fucking disaster when you think about it, because the previous story fucked that up for it.
As much as people, and this is the thing that gets me. As much as people say like, don't get me wrong, toyotaro isn't a good right. Toyotaro when it comes to dragonball, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of iffy. I'm not gonna say hack. I'm not gonna say hack, but it's kind of like the writing in Dragon Ball Super is kind of questionable.
And it's only
Can
the
I hear?
manga. I can
Hello?
like yeah, you sounded like a robot for a second, but I heard you. Say what you all want about the anime. Anime can at least make people like at least make this arc feel epic. The manga,
No. I was bringing up a point. No. I was bringing up a point. They hate. They like you like how sometimes the fans like to praise Toriyama and then crap on Toyotaro, when in fact Toyotaro was mainly behind the moral arc, and Toriyama actually have way more involvement in this one.
Yeah.
And they're saying,
I mean,
and then the same people say that the moral arc was better.
yeah, and you know what they say? Oh, it's better because Toriyama wrote it and this one is written by Toyotaro. But here's the thing, and I'll let it be out there right now. Um,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super's manga cannot only be attributed to Toyotaro. It's he's following Toriyama's fucking script. He's following Toriyama's script and his guidelines and his blueprints, and he's making a story based on that. He's basically filling in the gaps, like filling like fucking gaps. So this is not a problem of just Toyotaro. You can put the blame on Toriyama too. So, and this is not this like the Moro saga was written by Toriyama and this was written by
Hold on a
Toyotaro.
second.
Nice fan you got.
Hold on a second. Let me how turn my, oh, there it is.
Well, your fan looks more expensive than mine. I'll tell you that.
uh,
But yeah, this is like Toyotaro is simply following. Thank you. Toyotaro is like simply following Toriyama's guidelines or blueprint or whatever you want to call it.
yep.
Bullet points. Bullet points. That's what they use. But like but at the same time, can you? Because Toei Animation does it too, and Toei Animation is more competent at telling a story than Toyotaro and Toriyama combined. And I know people are going to be like saying, "Oh, there's no way Toei Animation can tell a better story than Toriyama." Well, they can. And case in
I
point,
mean, like, I'm sorry, but the fact that the anime is written better than than the manga,
yeah, and
I'm,
and simply because of the fact that a lot of them have certain ideas that either make it out there and didn't make it out there, and you wish it actually made it out there. Case in point, the ones that made it out there is fucking Bartok, right? Who's like a running
yeah,
theme in this house.
yeah.
If animation didn't decide to do a Bartok story, they wouldn't be Bartok. And I don't think he would have done Dragon Ball Minus. But let's say even if he did, like Bartok would be a much shittier character than he is when he originally was portrayed.
And this
And
art kind
Toriyama,
of and this art kind of proves that point.
yeah, Toriyama by his own admission said that he can't do the Bardock story better than Toei Animation. And then he went on to prove it. And then in Dragon Ball Super, the Bardock story made even more it became even more of an evidence. I don't understand people. I'm so that was like Bardock was an idea that was not put out by like Toriyama, and it still managed to do like it created like beloved characters. But if you want to hear another story, Jiren
Yeah.
was not supposed to be the way he actually ended up becoming. He was supposed to be like a Superman type figure. Like he's supposed to be charismatic and everything. And Toriyama's like, no, I want a fucking serious, roided up hit. So what we got is a serious, roided up hit who I'm convinced that only like the only reason people like him is not because of his character but because of his power. And I think his love only like spread to the power scaling community. I don't think anyone else
And
gave a shit
even
about it.
with and here's the thing, even with the power thing, because I'm sorry, the scaling in Dragon Ball is kind of ass. The scaling in Dragon Ball is just ass.
And I'm not sure like Toriyama, I'm not trying to make it look like Toriyama is a shitty writer. If he was a shitty writer, Dragon Ball wouldn't be a thing, and we wouldn't be talking about that in the stream. And some
Here's
people
what.
like to
Here's
say,
why. Here's the thing. Here's
hmm?
the thing. A lot of the problems, like here's the thing. If you take into account that maybe Toriyama isn't taking the scaling as seriously as some fans are, then a lot of the problems I say a lot of them, not all of them, because there's still some writing issues. But a lot of the problems do don't aren't actually issues. Like if you take into account that the power scaling isn't that serious. Like if you would take
I
into
mean,
account that power scaling isn't that serious, Frieza saying that he could blow the Frieza blowing up the plane and saying that will blow up in 5 minutes, or Cell threatening to destroy our solar system can be just seen as a jest. And I don't actually have that much of a problem with how the show would be scaled because, like, I wouldn't call it like an inconsistency in the plot because, you
I
know,
mean the power scaling community. If they end up writing a show, then it's going to be all style and no substance. Then Dragon Ball is going to be what it's accused to be, and that is just a shallow show or a shallow
and that's
story,
what's
which it
happening with the manga. All style, no substance.
no Dragon
That's
Balls like
kind
Super
of
Saga. I would disagree to that degree. Dragon Ball Super, even the manga displayed some substance, and they just like I don't know what they do afterwards, where they fuck it up or something. But even Granolah Saga had some substance going to it, and I'll get into more detail as we like move on. But Dragon Ball Super does
yeah.
have some substance.
Masturbator. When I said that's kind of what messed up the plot, that's kind of what messed up the manga. It's I'm not saying that the manga didn't have substance. What I'm saying is that once it started focusing more on the power, it started to drag. Like it just started to get samey.
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but yeah, I see your point. But that's what I'm saying. Dragon, like people like act like Dragon Ball is a shallow story. It's not a deep story. I'll put it out there. But a story doesn't have to be deep to be good. Dragon Ball, in fact, had a great story, and a lot of like we can talk about Gohan's like ascent to power, and like how like in the Cell Saga, we can talk about Vegeta's entire story in the Dragon like in the original Dragon Ball story. We can talk about Piccolo. We can talk like if you want to put the credit to history of Trunks, we'll even put it there. But it wasn't just one shallow story, and it wasn't just all hype fights and whatnot. If that was the case,
Yeah.
none of them would give a shit about Vegeta or Gohan. None of them would give a shit about Piccolo. Like there was a demand for Piccolo to get a power up, and if they wanted to do it, it would just be another character, not Piccolo. There is
Yeah.
still a lot of love going on for Krillin. Yeah, TN too. Even though they forgot in TN, there's still a lot of love going for Krillin. And I'm pretty sure a character who's always made to look weak, people would
I'm
give a
gonna
shit
say
about it.
this. I'm gonna say this. I don't think Toriyama likes Yamcha because throughout Dragon Ball, Yamcha just been treated like a complete joke. I do not like like people have said that Toriyama doesn't like Vegeta, but what does that say about Yamcha considering that Vegeta kind of is treated much better than he is?
But yeah, I see. But like that's what I'm saying. Dragon Ball and even this saga was not completely shallow. It's just that they had something going on, and then they fucked it up. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to make it like a fucking mono stream. So what I'll do is like start getting to the point now. So here's the thing, like Kronos like stole some robots, like stole 7-3, and after that like he had this dream of like Saiyans attacking his place. Now that is something I'm completely like, and that is because of the fact aside from GT, when was the last time that you see like something from the past ended up haunting them? For example, you know like how one tribe was like destroyed by the Saiyans, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't focus on any of the you don't focus on any of the life. Like you don't focus on any of the like any of the planets that got ravaged by the Saiyans. Instead, you just focused on the Saiyans themselves.
All right.
The Go ahead.
You know what? Yeah, you got a point though.
So this manga's entire hook was the fact that it was a like this time it was not about some random villain showing up to fucking beat Goku or like even an antagonist if you don't want to call him a villain. It's about it's about a character who like whose main characters like father or his race ended up ravaging, and he's going to take simply putting it that way. This is basically Saiyan's past coming to haunt him,
I
and
was.
the hope was supposed to be a Vegeta centric story because Vegeta, even though he's not done it to Ceruleans, has done it to other people. It's not something
I'm
he's
going.
completely strange.
I'm going to continue that part. I'm gonna make a continuation on that part, but I'm gonna do it a bit later because I when we get to the part because when we get to it, this has always been something that bugged me about Dragon Ball as of late.
I don't think a lot of people seem to remember that Saiyan race was a race of pieces of shit, and now they're changing it all to like feel good things here and there. But at the end of the day, like these people still fuck up the lives of multiple people, billions of them, I would even say. And you can't even put the blame on Frieza. They would do it whether Frieza is in control or not. And that was like the Bardock
I
story.
mean, saying,
It's a bad versus worse. Bardock was
I
not a
mean, I
good
mean,
guy.
I mean, I mean, they got rid of Goku's they got rid of Goku's original like it was a take on the Superman storyline, but it was done, but it was like in Z it was so originally done that yeah you couldn't really make the comparison of between him and Superman. But now they
It
just
was a
gave him Superman's backstory.
it was a subversion. And it wasn't even supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be Goku being a monkey man, and then they subverted it to Goku having a Superman story. Oh, he doesn't. And I don't think it still makes his race a bunch of like. I don't think Toriyama's completely retconned the fact, but he's fucking up Bardock. I'm not even going to call it a retcon, but Bardock still killed people in even in the. But again, the original Bardock story was not about Bardock being a good guy. In fact, you can even argue he deserved what was coming to him.
No, it's
And
the thing about the whole story now retconning Goku because now it's bringing up questions like why would like if Goku was such a piece of crap and the fact that Raditz said that Goku was supposed to be a piece of crap that was thrown away and was to destroy and was to basically destroy the planet, then why the frick?
you can say fuck.
It just
Okay,
then
fuck
why
the
the
kid.
frick am I getting a difference? Uh-huh.
You can say fuck now because it's no longer for kids. Fuck them kids. Those kids were not
Oh,
allowing
okay.
people to that.
Then why the fuck why the fuck does he why the it just why the fuck was Goku even? It's just I don't even think Goku's development like it never felt natural because I mean the bump on the head just meant Goku bumped his head. But it did give this one air of what if Goku ever got his memory back? What would he do with the power he's gained? It always gave that thought. Like whether Goku was who he is because of the friends he made, or was it because of the bump on his head? They could have done an interesting story with that. But now they're saying that bump on that. But now they're saying, oh no, he was always supposed to be a good guy.
That's the thing. But my original point was just to get back a little back on the point now. Salin brought up the Tuffles thing, and the reason I wish it was canon because Tuffles were actually the interesting part because they were the only grim reminder of Saiyans' past sins coming back to haunt them even if they change their ways. And it's nice for Vegeta and Goku, like it's nice of to change his ways, but he still fucked up a lot of people.
Yeah.
But but
Okay.
with
Yeah.
oh my god,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, no, I'm gonna wait. No, I'm gonna wait until after the Vegeta thing because oh gosh, I have so much to say about this shit.
But what I was going to say, Granola's hook was now there is a character whose people got killed by Saiyan, and he's swearing revenge. And it's like unlike the toughest, he's not putting the blame on the Saiyans, but he's putting the blame on Frieza because this was done under the orders of Frieza. Right? Frieza was the main mastermind behind everything,
And
and then
Master
we
Bus,
find out that yeah,
I'm gonna say this because I've actually heard this. I'm gonna use this same argument when it comes to the whole. I'm gonna use this argument why I think GT might have done this part better. Y'all could like people can disagree with me if they want, but the reason why I say GT might have done it better is because I don't remember because I don't remember the Frieza Force being there. It was just the Saiyans. How would they know that the Saiyans were part of the Frieza Force? Like Baby took his anger out on the Saiyans because it was the Saiyans that messed up his whole planet.
no. I think in like the Tuffle part, I don't think Frieza was in control nor King Cold. I think it was a case of Saiyans were still independent. They ravaged the planet of Tuffles, and then at some point afterwards, Frieza took control of them. But here,
Even this
it
short movie on Raging Blast also I'm guessing because it was also supposed to be like a revenge against the Saints.
yeah, the Hachiyak one, yeah, and in Hachiyak one, the Tuffles were having no problem, or at least that like last surviving Tuffle had no problem using Frieza as a slave. But again, so I don't believe in the GT one. I don't believe that Saiyans were what do you call it responsible. Sorry, I don't. My bad. I don't think Frieza was responsible. I think this was Saiyans taking their own action. But I
Yeah,
think it was
but here's the thing: the Saiyans were still under the Freeze Force. Like here's the thing: the Saiyans were still under the Freezer Force. In fact, they were doing the whole planet thing because of the Freezer Force.
well then you better you than me. I probably don't remember that part. But my point is it was done a bit more differently because Granolah like wants to kill Frieza.
Yep. My question was, how the
Oh,
fuck would Granolah know who Frieza was?
well, he would know. Like, wouldn't like here's the thing: if those Saiyans are wearing Frieza armor, and then there's like Frieza ship going around, and it's not just the Saiyans killing them. You also find out that Frieza soldiers are coming up and killing Namekians and civilians.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you?
but
Put
remember I brought that up. But Master, remember I brought up that they were wearing Frieza armor with the Tuffles, and you said that they probably wasn't working for Frieza at the time.
well,
Meaning
if
that
they
even if they did see the armor, unless they know who Frieza was and the armor itself, then how would he know Frieza was behind it?
well, here's the thing, and because I don't want to fucking debate about this, I'm going to move on. But here's the thing:
Okay.
GT1. I'm not sure if they were. If they did, they did. I'm not going to fucking argue. I don't even remember that much. With what do you call it? With the Granolah one, you have to understand it wasn't just the Saints attacking Terrellians, it was Frieza Force members too. And on top of that, considering the fact that Granolah was teaming up with fucking. I'd like, here's the thing: Frieza's name was already heard throughout the universe. And
Okay.
if even to not argue that, even if they didn't know, like Granolah was working with Elec, and Elec was supposed to be the know-it-all type. Wouldn't Granolah find out that like maybe like wouldn't he like tell him at some point that it was the fucking it was the Frieza Force members?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I was misremembering. Yeah, I was misremembering something. I forgot about Helix.
but my okay to continue. I like my hook was that like they had this character who's like a victim of the Saints attack,
Yeah.
and he had like, some like PTSD over it.
Yeah.
And for a story like Dragon Ball, I've never seen them like focus on psychological issues like that. And on top of that, on top of that, I think you got to like know more about Granolah. I'm not going to mention the Goku and Vegeta training part just for the sake of it. It's basically nothing. It's literally a waste of time. I think those were like I think the earlier parts like Goku and Vegeta training were like especially Goku training
Oh
were
yeah.
like irritating parts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Master Bad about Helix. I got this one like if there were any like if there are any power scholars that are watching this, I got this one gripe. Did they really think that Elec was a fighter? I'm sorry. Elec rarely has ever if like rarely have if ever have shown that he was capable of fighting.
I mean,
Like I always thought of Elec like just like the guy like just like the boss and the other guys was this muscle.
yeah. I like Eli for the most part, and because he was not the typical I'm strong. He's more like a know-it-all type. He's manipulative and everything, but I'll get to it. But here's another thing.
Yeah.
Gr- Granola didn't have that bullshit thing because like after like Moro's saga ended, you're like, how are they going to top that up?
Yeah.
Because any that's going to show up that suddenly magically becomes stronger than Goku and Vegeta, it's going to be a load of horse shit.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, then why didn't we pick up on it sooner? So I like the fact that Granolah was like weaker than Namek Saga, Goku, and whatever,
Yeah.
and on like and that way it wasn't like upping the power scaling and the way they did it. I think it was brilliant, and I'll get to it in a second. But do you actually like? I think the second or like the first official chapter of the Granolah Saga was actually like especially when they were focusing on Granolah. I
Mm-hmm.
think those best fit to the story because you actually got to know the character. before all this dumb shit went down. He wasn't just a he wasn't just a one-dimensional vengeful guy. He cares about certain people. He was even willing to let go of revenge once he
Yeah.
had no once he had no target to go at. Then you also have the fact that he was still working as a bounty hunter and he wasn't going to kill people unless his, unless his hand is forced. Besides that, has Granolah ever killed any people? I don't think so.
No. No. Now that you mention it, no. And that is kind of why I wish they kept the original ending instead of adding chapter 87.
Come again?
And that's why I wish they would have made the other one the original ending instead of chapter 87 because
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I don't think Granolah throughout the story has ever killed anyone. You can count him killing 7-3 out, but sorry, 7-3 clones out or whatever, like 7-3 fucking robot. I'm just going to call them robots.
but
But
they're
I don't think
robots.
they have a life. Come again?
That's it, but they're robots.
Yeah, they're robots. And he never killed people like living organic beings. He he's caring for an elderly Namekian. He's getting along with people who just straight up moved to his planet. And the part where he said, I'm not going to move in with Shugarians because of the fact that I want to remember what these people did to me. So here's another thing I want to get on a little bit. And this is why I'm saying like Toriyama just couldn't do it anymore. Like either that or he just doesn't give a shit. There's like a Toyotaro interview that showed up at some point where he drew in the Shugarians, and those
Yeah.
Shugarians actually looked a lot more appealing than what they actually look in the final product. They had like a little bit more of a complex design, and they look different from any other cookie cutter Toriyama design for other life forms. And Toriyama
Oh,
said, "No, I won't go with that. Here are my designs, and Shugarians look the way they are."
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to bring up the Boo saga. Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the story
Okay,
because I'm going to make a comparison between this and the Boo saga.
okay. Do you have any comparison in mind now?
Huh?
Do you have any comparison in mind now, or
I want to say it now, but then I'm thinking it might be more fitting if I say it at the end.
okay? So I'm going to tell you like Shukarians actually look a lot more like the way Toyotaro drew it, and they look a little bit less interesting when Toriyama drew it. They look like with Toriyama's design, like version of Shugarians look far more simpler than Toyotaro's, and I wish they actually went with Toyotaro's design. But if that was the Shugarian's design, I wouldn't be complaining too much. But Granolah was not supposed to be a part of the story. The titular character of an arc was not supposed to be a part of this arc. He was That was named after him. It was supposed to be just the heater. And Toyotaro, I think, like convinced Toriyama to have like a bounty hunter figure in his story, and he basically took inspiration from one of Toriyama's work where there's like a sniping group that couldn't live for long. So even though Toyotaro is original with the way he brought up Granolah, he was it wasn't Toriyama but Toyotaro who brought
I
the
mean,
best of this arc.
well,
And
I mean, the
everyone's
first
like
time,
And like I know like people like to shit on Granolah, but I don't think they get him for the most part. And the other thing is, whatever shit you want to blame on this arc, it has nothing to do with Granolah. You can even like it's not even the way he's written.
Yeah,
It's just that they have him do bullshit. It's more of a like, it's more of a problem with the story than it is with Granolah. I think everything they did with Granolah is completely fine.
yeah, and
And
yeah. In fact, I'm going to make this argument. Granolah is probably the best part of the story.
I would like to believe it started
Huh?
it wasn't Toriyama's creation. I'll tell you this: the best part of the story that this arc was named after wasn't Toriyama's idea. But here's another thing: I like Granola reminds me of Thorin, like Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. I don't know if any of you watched or read Vinland Saga, but he definitely gives me like those Thorfinn vibes, especially from the if you like the earlier parts
Yeah.
where Thorfinn was like working with Askeladd. They're both obsessed with revenge. They're both willing to do things out of that sheer obsession, and neither of them like Thorfinn killed people. Granola didn't. But spoiler alert, I think as like the story progresses, Thorfinn stopped killing people too, and he started feeling remorseful for his action, and he's willing to atone for it. Granola never killed people from the start, but he was willing to, out of his sheer obsession of revenge.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the first wish, not the other wish. The like the wish that Granolah made.
No, no, no. Wait, just a second. We'll get to that part too.
Okay,
But I
because
was
I got some thoughts on that one.
like both Gruner and Thorfinn couldn't get to kill the people they were obsessing their entire revenge after, and for the most part, they were at a state of just living life, basically, just flowing with the wind. They have no direction. They were just flowing, and then they were given some meaning or whatever. But I think when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, you can make certain arguments here and there, but I'm just talking about Dragon Ball Super. Guru is by far the best character from the manga, and I wish that, and I wish they do something with him, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, we got to know more about Grora. We found out that he's not really a bad guy, and he's not edgy too. He's getting along with people, and then we get to the part where we find out that
Who said?
Cerulean can too,
What I want to
and
know
then,
is who said he was edgy but ignored gas.
how come? What?
I was saying who said that Granola's edgy, but at the same time they be ignoring gas.
You know, Master Coex.
Oh, but gas is edgy.
I don't know. I think he said gas is boring, but
I mean, hmm, he's got a
listen,
point, but gas is also edgy.
you know,
I mean, Gas's backstory is literally infinite from Sonic Forces.
you know what? I want to get to the Masako bit a little too, because there was a point in time where he annoyed the shit out of me. I don't know what the fuck he's on about. It's if it's like he was like I could have sworn whatever street he lived in, he pretty much lowered the IQ of the entire street there with the shit he was saying. But I'll in a second I'll get to it. But yeah, so there's like two Dragon Balls and
Yeah.
Granolah to be the strongest in the universe. And this is where a whole lot of people in the Dragon Ball community started complaining. Oh no, everyone else had to train for it. Why can just people just like wish to have the fucking power up? First of all, first of all, it wasn't like it was stated in the story. It wasn't a wish without any
Consequence.
yeah, like any consequences. Granola had to take away a lot of his lifespan just to get that power up. Secondly, and there's like a geekdom argument too here, which I kind of understand, but it's still a dumb point given the circumstances. With there's that. There's also the fact that people were people were complaining about like Granola being the strongest and by wishing for it, and 3 years not being enough. And you know what? I would agree with I wish that they went with the 1 year life. But here's the thing: their story afterwards, like straight up, straight up introduced the part where they can just lower the lifespan even more, and we got to see it over and over. For the sake of more power, for the sake of more power, you actually see these characters like lower the lifespan.
Oh, and here's another point that completely that I can't even believe this flew over my head until like the story ended. But there was a like the wish does have a thematic meaning to it.
Yeah,
Like it
I,
shows exactly how far Granolah was willing to go for revenge.
yeah. And even though like Gas is a shitty villain, he he works like a thematic. He works like a proper thematic villain for Granola because he was supposed to be a darker reflection of what Granola was willing to do. But that's what I was like going to say. They were complaining about 3 years not like being too long a lifespan or something. But you've literally seen these people burn away their lifespan for more power. Then there's the part of them talking about, and then that's the part. Oh, they don't train. This is why we hate him. They don't train. It ruins Dragon Ball. And fucking Carthudojo was talking about the structure, and he's using big words that he has no meaning of. This fucking crayon eater who talks about
Okay,
who makes about Goku being born with Ultra Instinct is going to tell us about the structure and anatomy of Dragon Ball. Fuck out of here. Fuck Carthudojo. But
okay. I'm gonna say this. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Frieza, I can kind of buy training for a few months because as later on in the story, it's shown to be a canon thing. Regular ass Super Saiyans gaining the power in just a few weeks, or in Broly case, a few minutes.
no. Here
I'm sorry.
I'll do you better. If Granola turned out to be that strong from the start, then you would be asking yourself, why didn't West pick him up during the tournament of power? He should have would have come in handy. Or here's this is something you like. If we actually earned this power, wouldn't that be a load of horse shit? Wouldn't be bullshit that Goku and Vegeta trained to ascend to the level of gods by training for like years and months and fucking what do you call it throughout Dragon Ball from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah,
When and then these guys who just come out stronger than them just for existing.
yeah.
Moro started like Moro was already Super Saiyan God level he- by just being there, and then he was supposed to be even stronger than that. Then he ate a
Oh,
planet somehow able to overcome Ultra Instinct Omen.
oh,
Nobody seemed to give a shit about that. He
oh,
wasn't even using magic at that point.
oh, and Master Vader. Granolah, the Wish, is the only thing so far that I've actually seen where the consequences of said power matter. You can bring up Ken, but that has been negated like since.
Well, Konosuke, we haven't got into that, but I think it's going to take some time. Just telling this to 1 year worth of story. But yeah, this is we'll get to that. Konosuke brought up a good point here, and it's not just about how it looks. It has like a bigger problem. Just simply just for being there. But yeah, like uh, if Granola somehow just like trained to be this strong, people will complain. If Granola just wishes, and at that time it was like a unique thing, no one did it before, and it would have been like a nice way to up the power scaling or what power scaling or power creep. It's a nice way
Okay.
to do the power creep thing in the sense that this character who got stronger than Goku didn't just wasn't just born strong or trained to be at that level. He wished for it, and for the most part, that wish was treated as a bad thing. And it was supposed to be a lesson for Granola that you can't just take shortcuts into being the strongest. And just because you're the strongest now doesn't mean you will be the strongest forever.
I still find it funny of all the origin stories they ripped off, they picked infinites for the villain. They picked infinites from Sonic Forces to rip off.
But
That is hilarious to me.
don't you think how insane it is that
Huh?
more just like each planet to get to the level of UI Omen, and it's not even the fact that he's using magic as a way to counter against people stronger than him. He just got that strong. Moro can get an Ultra Instinct form, which he totally doesn't deserve and wouldn't fit with his character.
Yeah.
He got an Ultra Instinct form. Nobody's winked an eye. But grown up wishing for power, everybody loses their mind. So, so yeah, grown up wish to be the strongest in the universe, and it drew the ire of the Dragon Ball community, who were talking about the structure and the anatomy and psychology.
How does
They,
leaving you with just 3 years left to live destroys the structure and the anatomy of a fucking story? That's a
I don't,
cost of that's a cost of a shortcut.
I don't know of carthudojo, but then there's Geekdom, who made up a semi decent point, but still made a fucking which still ended up looking dumb regardless because he's supposed to know better. So so he brought up a point with grown like there's just these Dragon Balls that happen to be there. The second one just like happened to be like shown on a TV where Granola was watching, and then Granola just like very easily took the Dragon Balls and wished for the power. There was no struggle for him to get to that level. He just got it. All of this was set in place for him, which would have been a semi decent point where I would have liked it too if he just like had to struggle a bit, had to like risk his life for this power, and we got to know more about him.
But at the
It
same
would,
time, but at the same time, I get why
yeah,
they did it.
I in
Also,
that
also, also, Master Bay, you brought up a point. Granola having 3 years left to live is paying homage to one of Toriyama's old creations.
that and you they've literally introduced the point of these people burn away their lifespan to get more power. But just to go back to what I was saying, the thing about like Geekdom's point is it would have been a good point or a semi decent point if it was done in a weekly or bi-weekly manga. But this one is done fucking monthly. How the fuck can you do all of that in a monthly schedule? Then you would have to change the entire schedule fucking pattern then. You're telling me that like Geekdom wants this long struggle for Granola, but if Toyotaro actually went with this fucking thing, people would still complain. They would say,
Oh,
"Oh, just get to the point already. This is filler. This
oh,
is
and speaking
filler."
of
Just
struggle to get power, oh, and speaking of struggle to get power, since they're talking about the thematic, since they're talking about the anatomy of the story, whenever we saw Frieza train, and this is when he got golden form, He only was shooting at his low level minions. That was it. There was nothing that
Yeah,
could
like you
give
didn't see
them the proper
train.
training to reach that level. Huh?
Well, it's not even
My
that.
point is,
I would, they didn't
what?
they didn't they didn't give Frieza a training montage, and that is simply because of the fact it wasn't it they didn't need to. But with Granolah, if they actually went with the whole struggling to get that second Dragon Ball, people would complain about this arc having a turtle face. Give me a second. Yeah, you can continue your point.
But my thing is, when I think about how Frieza got the golden form, well, yeah, I could buy training for 4 months. You can get a form after not after spending years of not training. But when I consider what Frieza training was, my question is, where's the struggle?
I mean, the struggle thing wouldn't be a bad point, but Geekdom knows that how like the whole scheduling of the manga.
But the
So
thing is,
why?
but the thing is, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad point. But then you would have to apply it to other characters too, not just Granolah.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It, but like my point is like with like yeah, then I never thought about it this way. You have a point with, but like Geekdom made a video. He didn't struggle. All of this just set in place. Well, they were just moving things along, and
Oh,
who
let's go to another
fucking
character that was strong. Fucking Morin.
I've brought that up too. But yeah, so moving along, Granolah gets power up, and he beat up what was his name? Oil. He beat up Oil and Maki, and then he said, "Oh well, I wish to be the strongest in the universe through Cerulean Dragon Balls."
You
And
fucking.
I was like, "Yeah, you fucked up there, buddy. I guess he really trusts you like that much." But now to get to the Goku and Vegeta training, which I won't waste too much time on. Goku's training is just him training with train using basically he's having a training of how do I put it? He's training to use Ultra Instinct in his base form, Super Saiyan forms and whatnot, which is
Yep.
the annoying and boring part that I basically skipped over because it is that fucking annoying. But after hmm, come
No,
again.
no, no. Keep going. Because no, not saying keep going. Keep going. I
So
thought
the
this was
whole
going to be the time I
Ultra
was going to interject.
okay, I was going to say
Keep.
there's the part where they actually treat what Konosuke brought up, the true
Yep.
Ultra Instinct part, and it said that you got to use your own version of Ultra Instinct. And there was line that was thrown around at that point. There's that, and there's also the fact that this training montage of Goku did absolutely nothing but confirm that the silver hair form and the Ultra Instinct Omen were not just techniques Goku were using, but in fact fucking transformation. And what Goku is learning now is using Ultra Instinct as a technique rather than a transformation. So that's
I mean, you got
wonderful.
to experience that to do that, but fuck if I know.
Then there's the Beerus part, yeah, which I wish I could just avoid talking about because then we would we've already wasted an hour and we didn't even get to the second act of it. Excuse me. The Beerus part is literally the Beerus part where he's training Vegeta and telling Vegeta about how my mind's on destruction, that's why keeps getting stronger. Tells me my entire problem with Beerus as a character. He's not he's not a character, but the way he's being utilized. See, here's the thing: when Virus was first introduced, he like the thing going for him is that he was the character that Goku never beat, no matter how many times he tried, and Virus never even used his full power. But here's the thing: in Battle of Gods, the estimate given was Virus was using 60% of his power or 70% of his power. In So if he wants so Goku was a lot closer to Beerus than the show gave him credit for. In Beerus's original appearance, by the way, not on Super, on Battle of God, the movie. Then you see Goku, and then they completely forgot that part out. They cut that part out to say, oh, Beerus was just holding back. In Resurrection of F, the whole thing about Ultra Instinct is that Beerus never mastered it, and if you master Ultra Instinct, then you would be able to beat Beerus. Whis didn't directly say that, but that's what he was implying. Ultra Instinct is what both Vegeta and Goku were going for to be able to compete with Beerus. Then you see that Beerus used like in the manga. Like okay, before we get to the manga version, Beerus was using Hakai, which could not only kill you but also rob you of your appearance in the afterlife. You don't even get to have a life after death. So just on that alone, the Hakai power up was even more OP. Then apparently Beerus can use Ultra Instinct
Okay,
to
him
some
using UI. If you look at when he fought Super Saiyan 3 Goku, it was kind of hinted at.
I'm not arguing that it was a bullshit, but again, Beerus in the original story was not supposed to be like that.
Oh right.
Goku was supposed to be a lot closer to Beerus, and I think by the time they've hit Super Saiyan Blue, like they should be a lot more closer, but not anymore. And Vegito, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, was supposed to be the character that surpassed Beerus. And then, but even if you want to say it was done by Supreme Kai, you know what Toyotaro was going for here.
Yep.
Then you see Beerus use Ultra Instinct to some degree, which means that he isn't completely like how do I say it? Considering that he was like Whis was training him, I don't think it's bullshit, but he isn't as inexperienced with that thing as Whis claimed it to be. And then like by the time Goku reached Ultra Instinct, that is like the point where he should be able to compete with Beerus, but no, with Broly, with Broly, Broly was supposed to surpass Beerus, and that was like even more credited with the fact that Beerus was legit scared when he found Broly on his planet in Dragon Ball Superhero. But then in the manga especially, you find out that here's the thing. I think during the Broly movie, the only
Yep.
thing that Goku from fighting Beerus again was the fact that he never truly mastered Ultra Instinct in the sense that he never was able to use it at will. Like
Yep.
he couldn't transfer to that form. So there is no way he can compete with Beerus.
Yep.
See, here's the thing. After the Moro saga, the logical step is Goku facing Beerus again. Because this time he is able to like freely use not one form but two of them. But instead they've now retconned it to where they now retconned it to saying that destroyer energy is is a counter or an answer to the angelic ability. And the and not only does Beerus not have ultra instinct, but he also have ultra ego. Because ultra ego's entire thing is you need to have a mind you need to have like a certain way of thinking, and then you can get powerful. Beerus having ultra ego means that the story is Beerus is just going to be as strong as the story demands him to be.
Yeah. Basically, what Toyotaro with Ultra Ego, what Toyotaro has written, or Toriyama has written, well, both have written, is that there is an in-universe reason. There's an in-universe reason as to why Beerus is a moving goalpost. That's basically what they written.
Well, the reason the reason Goku and with like Goku and Vegeta were never able to surpass Beerus is because Beerus's
Always,
mindset is on destruction,
it's
always
always,
on destruction.
yeah. Meaning the stronger Goku gets, the stronger Beerus gets.
And that is a problem with Beerus. Not with Beerus, but how they're insisted on not getting to the point of Goku and Vegeta fight. This is like them just stalling at this point. Because how can you ever, how the hell, like, Jiren was not supposed to be stronger than his god of destruction anyway, too. He was supposed to be stronger than a god of destruction. That is why Ultra Instinct was introduced, right? And even then, they made the point of what was his name? Belmont or something? To
Yeah.
like basically like he was supposed to be stronger than Beerus, and then Beerus said, "Oh well, it was just a arm wrestling match." But even in the manga, you've seen Bermont, the clown god of destruction, just play around with a
Actually,
bunch of.
yeah, actually do like actually damage Beerus. Like actually is able to damage Beerus and stuff.
And Jiren was supposed to be even stronger than him. Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me started on him, Konosuke. But see, that's the thing. Now with Beerus, there is no limit to his power, which just means that they just need to make him stronger than as long as the writers want him to be, he just keeps getting stronger. And after Goku beats him, which he will, fuck Vegeta by the way. Is
You
I
know what?
don't know what.
I don't think that you know what? Even now, I don't think that Frieza would be a match for Beerus because of that
I mean,
in universe reason.
see, logically, Frieza should like way long Beerus,
I mean,
but
logically, yes, but because of that in universe, but because of um Ultra Ego and that in universe explanation behind it, I don't think he will.
you know what? There's another point to it. Vegeta needs to keep getting on Goku's level. There is no way where Goku would just like get Ultra Instinct and Vegeta would just be like left in the dark. So they needed Vegeta to have his answer to Ultra Instinct because he straight up refused to use that form. He's going to get stronger his own way, therefore no Ultra Instinct. So Ultra Ego had to be introduced. So Beerus is, even though he's still not stronger than Whis, has a power that can compete with Angel's power. So whatever. Why did we even wait for Goku to attain Ultra Instinct for so long? I don't know. So
You know what?
moving
Now I
along,
think about it, I think that's the problem. Is you is Ultra Ego in general because it's not really a how do I put this? If I'm gonna take a bet, I don't think that the transformation actually changes the person's power level. I
mhm.
think what I think when the power level changes is when how much damage they take. Since I
Here's
think,
another thing.
mhm.
It's something that introduced much later on, and people will say, "Oh well, what about Topo? Topo became god of destruction, became vastly stronger. He still wasn't on Jiren's level. They should have like if this is how we're going to go, Vegeta got a form that's an answer to Ultra Instinct, and even surpassed it. You can even argue that he surpassed it. Topo never surpassed Jiren, and they didn't do that in the manga.
Hell,
So
even
Ultra
Goku didn't surpass Jiren.
come again.
I said even Goku didn't surpass Jiren. Like in the
Goku
tournament of
did.
power, even with MUI, he didn't surpass Jiren.
Well, he did surpass him. Remember, he fought him. Yeah, are you talking about
Now,
the
I
manga or
know,
the
now I
anime?
know he did damage to him, but because of the time limit.
Oh, okay. But the time limit thing is the only thing that kept Goku from beating Jiren here and there. But that's what I'm going with. He was like if you don't want to use the anime thing, like the reason they didn't give Topo God of Destruction power is simply because of the fact that they were saving it for much later on or something. You can argue either that or they just had no idea and took inspiration from the anime. But my point is, with with Ultra Ego was introduced as an answer to Ultra Instinct, which is completely fine by me because Ultra Instinct is not as OP as people make it out to be. I'm sorry. But here's the thing. Um,
Don't say that.
just
Beerus always has it on.
yeah, they should have just gone with Goku and Beerus fight, and then if they want to do something else, then I don't have a problem. But they didn't, and all of this did is just all of that development where Goku got like Ultra Instinct. All of that was for fucking nothing because now he's supposed to learn even more power, which we'll get to much later on. And a lot of the blame goes to the Moro saga or the way it's written. So anyways, I'm not going to waste too much time on this whole fucking thing. So the another part that B just mentioned is that Vegeta he's like holds some guilt and he needs to like let it go, which is a nice message. And that was the only part that I thought was worth hearing. Even though B did it in an unsavory way, and the way it looked like Beerus wants Vegeta to basically regress, it was a nice message in the sense that Beerus told Vegeta to move on. It's not your fault that all these people did, and you straight up atone for all you did. You don't have to blame yourself for what other people besides you did. That's why I felt like they were going with a Vegeta centric story.
In fact, I
Because
don't
by
even
the
think
end,
of it as regression. I don't even think of it as regression. I just think of it as he needs to move on, and like what's holding him back is that guilt. Well, that newfound guilt
yeah,
is holding him back. He needs to move on. Like,
and that, and that's why it needed to be a Vegeta centric story because this was
yeah,
basically Vegeta's story. Vegeta Goku is a Saiyan, yes, but Goku didn't do any of the things other Saiyans did. Vegeta didn't kill
yeah,
the Cerealians, but he did ravage other planets. He did destroy other planets. He, he killed like billions of people.
yeah.
So
And here's the thing. And here's the thing about the whole. Yes, Vegeta becoming a good guy is a good progression for Vegeta. But as this chapter is showing, it's also Vegeta's regression.
yeah,
Because
because
now
this
he's
fucking
gained because now that he's gained a newfound guilt, he's stuck with it.
see the problem here is that they forgot how Vegeta was written, and it wasn't just a problem of Dragon Ball Super or even Dragon Ball GT. It's a problem of Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta's thing was He does not act like Goku. He's willing to do whatever it takes to beat this guy. Essentially, he's like Frieza. And then they say he has this warrior pride and he has the warrior mentality and he Saiyan pride and whatnot. Something he didn't fucking give a shit about. He was killing Reku, Bertus, and who's the other guy? While they were at their fucking beach, they couldn't even fight anymore. He was willing to run away from Frieza until Frieza just straight up punched him in the gut. It has nothing to do with fucking Saiyan pride. But again, I want to mention this. Like, I want to draw. Like, I want to mention this too. Vegeta. Like, this is a nice. I wish they should have like went with the Vegeta story because this could have been like if they just focused on Vegeta moving on at the end by facing the sins of his past, it would have been such a great story to go with. But no, it had to be about Goku. But you can tell your thoughts. I just need to go
Oh,
to the bottom for two.
now I can say it. Now you say it because that be my go.
You can do
Okay.
it. You can.
This is my main problem with Super. Goku is shoehorned into everything. In the Frieza saga, he is shoehorned in when Vegeta should have been the one to kill Frieza, since Vegeta has the most history with Frieza. In this arc, in the Broly move, they changed Broly's backstory from having Goku a part of it. But the fact that Goku shoehorned himself in that fight always threw me is the reason why I just was always the problem with the movie for me. Because it's like ever since that movie when he shouldn't be. Master Master hello, am I here? Hello.
Yo, Mentalic. Oh my god, he left. Mentalic, you there? Mentalic? Mentalic? Hello? Mentalic.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Can
For
you
a
hear me?
minute, I thought it froze. Yeah, yeah. For a minute, I thought it froze on my end.
No. I had to take a dump. You know, potty time waits for no one.
Oh,
So
that's true.
I had to rush in. That's why I like told you that I would need to go to the washroom real quick. You can
All
take
right,
it away. It would
all
take
right,
me like a couple of seconds, so you can continue. You can talk for a while. I'll just be right back.
all right.
You can keep talking for a second. You were saying, go ahead. I'm listening. Okay, so you won't be talking, motherfucker. Anyways, I was going to tell you.
Um,
Well,
my phone's acting. My phone. Yeah.
I,
Anyway, what I was saying about the whole Goku thing.
yeah.
But yeah, it seems like even with this fight, what does Goku have to do with this fight with Granolah or the Heaters? Like Goku wasn't there. I mean, and then when they introduced Bardock later, that didn't help any. That if anything, that didn't help because how to put this? Because apparently Bardock was the one that saved Granolah. So if Bardock saved, so Bardock being the one that saved Granolah makes even less sense for Granolah. Just, it just makes less sense for Goku to be in this fight. I never. Yeah.
And that is okay. My bad. I was
Yeah. I'm just saying I
okay.
was just talking about how I felt that Goku was like just shoehorned in the fights. And I was about to bring up how in the new movie, I'm actually glad that they kept Goku out of it. Because
I mean,
my
every
God.
time Goku
Huh?
put the, every time Goku puts a thumbs up, a part of me dies.
Huh?
If there's
I
one
said
thing this manga does,
yeah.
sorry, just for a second, this manga is, and it's not even like the anime. Anime has at least done Goku better than the manga one. Dragon Ball Super manga's Goku is everything I hate about Goku, and they're just doubling down on it. So, okay, now moving on, and I won't take that long this time because a lot of this is just so. Goku and Vegeta went to Planet Cereal after the heaters tricked Goku and Vegeta into think Grown is a bad guy, and then they trick that Goku and Vegeta are Frieza's assassins, and they're Saiyans. So Granolah like fought Granolah fought Goku. He ended up beating Goku, and I don't have much issue with it. And I think when the way Granolah fight it like gives me a lot of hate vibes in the sense that they hit like target vital points, and he's not a warrior. He's an assassin, and Granolah is like a sniper, right? He would go for the
Yeah.
vital.
I'm
Then
gonna
there's
say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. The Granolah fighting against UI, as much as I hate the fact that it's Goku, it is a decent fight.
it's a pretty good fight, yeah.
Like it does show like a very tactical fight for once in Dragon Ball.
It was a tactical fight, and they were using
No,
environment.
not for once in Dragon Ball. For once in Dragon Ball Super.
Well, it was a tactical fight, and then there's like also the fact that they were using their environment.
Yeah.
Like the part where Granolah and Goku were flying in a tree, and then Granolah basically use like his what scarf and basically
Yeah.
kick Goku. That's interesting. But this is where people were complaining about Ultra Instinct being nerfed because Granolah was using his Byakugan. I'm not going to call it Sharingan. It's more of a Byakugan. Where Granolah was like using his
Okay.
Byakugan, he was using his Byakugan to like target Goku's battle, and he knows where to hit him and how his body, his muscle movements, and his blood flow move. Therefore, he's able to beat Ultra Instinct. And they were saying it's bullshit and it's nerfed. And about
Okay.
what about the nothing?
Okay. I'm gonna just bring up one character. I'm just gonna bring up one character. Well, two characters. Well, I could technically bring up two characters, but I'm just gonna bring up these characters to kind of show how stupid this argument is. 17 and 18. Both of them can
Okay,
keep track of MUI Goku. And it's because of their cybernetic enhancements. So the fact that Granola's eye, which I believe is also an enhancement, can pick up Goku. I don't get how that is such a hard concept to grasp.
well, I would argue this Ultra Instinct. Let's say if this is how it's normally used, like no sudden like body reacts on its own. There's no way you can hit it. It just becomes like a boring fight then, because Goku can just whip out Ultra Instinct and boom, everything's over. There need to be weaknesses for it. Otherwise, all the fights are boring. And especially in the manga, Ultra Instinct is just boring to watch. In the anime, they had him like move around in a interesting ways, almost like looks divine and everything. That's what the fact that he was fighting Jiren, the black hole of charisma himself, and he gave him his like proper beating. But every time that form overpowers all the fucking people, it just becomes a boring thing to look at then. And another point I want to mention is that everyone's like on about how Ultra Instinct shouldn't be caught off guard by Granolah. I want to mention like even with Jiren, let's say like bring up the anime for the sake of argument. I want to people to remember that Jiren during Ultra Instinct's first proper appearance where Goku actually got to do and got to showcase that form. I want to remind you that Jiren basically powered up and basically was fast enough and strong enough for Goku to not be able to react and take damage. Moro, if we go want to go by the manga continuity, Moro used Ultra Instinct and he was able to be fast enough and strong enough to not only hit Goku but also damage him.
And
With
then let's go, and then let's go with an even a weaker character, with a supposedly weaker character. Kefla was able to graze Goku.
not even that, you don't even look that far. Fucking Whis. Whis was fast enough and strong enough for Goku to basically sleep with like hit him and knock him out of that form. So why couldn't Granola, who wished to be stronger, like the strongest being in the universe, that also included Goku and Vegeta, by the way, would not be able to surpass Goku? Why couldn't he, when Jiren can, Whis can, and even Moro can, was not able to touch Goku after using his after sleep bitsing him and targeting his button?
Especially when even fucking Kefla can.
Now I think though that part can be defended except for that little tiny bit that I would draw the line on. There was the part where Ultra Instinct Goku was beating Granolah, and Granolah was like saying, "Well, I really shouldn't have split up my power like that. I've underestimated you. I really should like." And then Goku's like, "Huh? What? What did you say?" Then Granolah said, "I split up myself and cut my power in half. So the one you were fighting is actually a clone of me." And Goku's like, "Huh? What are you talking about? Huh? What?" After that, like Granolah disappeared, and like Goku still couldn't connect the dots. Huh? And he's still saying, "Huh? What is going on?" Vegeta just straight up told him, "You were fighting a fucking clone. The real body is somewhere else." And Vegeta like, "I don't understand what you're saying. What is going on?" And I'm like, "Goku, you fought
You are not
TN.
this stupid. You know what the cloning ability is. You know how it works. You've done it.
You've done multiform technique." I don't know if he does multiform technique himself, but he fought TN who used multiform technique. He was able to
Actually, he
deduce.
did use a multi-form, I think, against Raditz. I think he did it against Raditz once. But I think that was only in the
Okay,
anime. Yeah, I think he used it
but
against Raditz in the anime.
but when that multiform technique was first introduced, Goku was able to deduce that like deduce like multiple weaknesses of the multi-form technique, and one of them is it cuts your power in half. Why couldn't Goku figure that out himself? I didn't know Ultra Instinct can make you dumber. This is just
Oh,
another example of
oh,
why the manga just like fucks up Goku, and like they're insistent on Goku being dumb. Vegeta's more of a martial artist than Goku is,
yeah.
and
Oh,
Vegeta
yeah,
didn't
speaking
even
of
win.
which, this is supposed to be the battle tactician. Because that's the argument
See
I
that
always hear. Goku's a battle tactician and doesn't know what a fucking clone is.
he was able to deduce
Oh,
techniques,
thank
but
you.
he was able to learn Kamehameha just by a glance. He was able to deduce the multiform technique weakness at the time when it was first shown. Nobody saw it but Goku. And it and again this guy is a martial artist. Why couldn't he? Why is Vegeta acting more like Goku than Goku?
Also, how does Vegeta know? Is it, you want to know what makes this thing even worse?
Hmm?
Vegeta knows more about this technique than Goku does. Someone who's actually you Goku who actually have used the technique and have seen it firsthand. That makes this worse.
None of them ever brought that up too. They're like, "Oh, Bruno just gets all these power ups. My God, he wished to be the strongest being in the universe. Why couldn't he get some cool
I
move
mean,
that he could do?"
yeah, it's like with the Trunks Spirit Sword. That yes is a power that just happened. Now, if he actually showed that he could use it earlier, then hell.
I mean, here's the thing. Granola didn't train. He probably, I think he's using it by instinct or he's just somehow aware.
Unless, okay, what if? Just what if? Because remember, Dragon said he took 3 years off his life, right? No, not 3 years, but he only that Granolah has 3 years left to live. That would mean however many years he had before he got the equivalent of training that much time.
I just want to mention this too. Masako was complaining about Granola being too strong, and I'm like, you're a fucking genius, Sherlock. A strongest being in the universe is too strong. No shit, Sherlock. But my bad. I was going to tell you. I'll just move along. I think we've.
Wait, who
I
was it that he said was the best was still the best villain?
come again.
Now who was it that he said was was still the best villain? Even after that
Well,
that you had
I
alone.
come again.
No, something he said that triggered you that got you so heated that you made a long essay in the comment section.
Oh, that was a Cellmax one, but yeah, Master Code
All right,
so stupid shit. But
all right.
I shouldn't like him. But he says smart things too. It's just that I don't know what to call him. I'll get to him in a second because his parts were the most annoying one, and I'm getting to it. So Granolah beat Goku,
Uh,
then
I thought you were gonna
face
say something
Vegeta.
like that.
Come
Hmm?
again? What?
I said I thought it was something. I thought it was gonna be something about like gas was actually good. You know, gas was an edgy motherfucker. Fucker knows edgy, but gas is basically infinite.
Yeah, but
Ah,
like, that's what
damn
I'm
it.
going to say. That Granolah is like how do I say it? Granolah fought Vegeta, and Vegeta figured out that Granolah was like didn't train for that power. He's just recently got it, which is something Goku should deduce, but he didn't. I guess I don't know why. Then Vegeta basically talked about how being the strongest isn't quite set in stone, and just because you're the strongest now doesn't mean you'll be the strongest forever, which is what
That
the
is
whole.
that's actually in line with Vegeta's character because in the same saga he thought he was the strongest, and then Goku whipped his, and then Goku taught him, and then Goku taught him that lesson.
Yeah, that's progression. That whole fight between Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta, and Granolah was the best chapter in that arc, and that is simply because of the fact you actually see Vegeta grow. You actually see Vegeta accept the fact that he won't be number one forever, and it's more of a like again it's Vegeta and Granolah just feels right because it's not Goku who is being friendly with a guy who's shit talking. Vegeta's like giving his fair share of shit talking too. Then there's another part of him actually doing what Goku should do, and that is like let Granolah know that you can't be strongest forever. And you like deduce the fact that Granolah basically deduce the fact that Granolah is like basically didn't even like get that power. He didn't train for that power.
And keep
What
in
he
mind,
did,
this is coming from Granola's target.
yeah. So the whole theme of that fight, and like even the part where Vegeta turned to an ego. I know everyone likes to shit on that form, and I just like spent like a good 20 minutes or so explaining why Ultra Ego is just a whole like just introduced just for the sake of making Beerus strong, just making Beerus stronger as the story demands it. But I like Ultra Ego's form, even though it's just like Super Saiyan, like Super Vegeta with Super Saiyan 3 face, and I think Super Saiyan 2 here, but it's purple. I wish they went with the yellow eyes because the yellow eyes looked cooler, but whatever. But the whole form, I think, looks good in Vegeta because it completely changes his character. He becomes like, I can't call him like Saiyan Saga Vegeta, but I can like straight up say this is like Vegeta at his most maniacal point, which is fun to watch.
And
And on
keep
top of
and
that,
keep in and that's what keep in mind, Vegeta moments ago was talking about not being number one forever. but the form is called Ultra Ego, which is like an antithesis to that point.
I mean, it's him having fun, and Vegeta still
Huh?
egotistical, even if Vegeta acknowledges the fact that you can't stay number one forever. It
No,
is a
no, no. I
nice,
know, no, 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 no. I'm just pointing out the irony of the whole situation.
but it's like the whole fight. All it felt like the part where Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Granolah fought. It was like a fun little fight simply because of the fact that
Yeah,
Vegeta was
yeah,
actually having fun.
yeah, masturbate. I'm not saying that it was. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, or I'm not saying like it's out of character of Vegeta. I'm just pointing out the iron. I'm just pointing out the ironic joke in the whole thing.
Okay, I
That
see.
the
I
form is
see.
called Ultra Ego, with but before Vegeta wasn't, you know, perpetrating an ego.
I
Like
see.
what
But
Vegeta was saying was the opposite of an ego.
I see your point. I was going to say that that whole fight between Vegeta and Granolah, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Granolah, was actually the most fun fight I've seen because you actually like it's Vegeta having fun, and that is something you don't see a lot. And the other part is the whole fight that capped off with Vegeta getting a new form was actually done brilliantly.
I mean, it
So that
ended horribly, but I mean, it ended horribly, and it made the form kind of pointless. But yeah, it was for that chapter specifically. It was decent.
but that is what got me to like I couldn't wait. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't wait until the next chapter at that point because that was by far made me excited for what's to come. Even though I saw the sign, I actually wanted to see where they're going to go from here. And then they started, and they didn't complete the shit the bit there, but they started to because this whole fight was between a guy who cheated to get to be the strongest versus a guy who trained to be at that point. So that form is like ultra ego in itself is like a nice form because it makes Vegeta a little bit crazier. And I always like forms that don't. I always like transformation that aren't just like make you stronger, but it like makes you a little bit different. Super Saiyan 4
It,
made Goku a little bit wild
yeah,
around,
it's kind of why in GT. It's kind of why I say in GT that there's one thing that they did right is the Super Saiyan 4 transformation
but like
because
I was
Goku
going,
and Vegeta get more vicious.
they get more vicious.
You know what
Goku does it. I can hear you. I can hear you. I was going to say Super Saiyan 4 Goku is actually fun to watch because it's not just like you can tell Goku is acting unusually because he's mocking his opponents, he's shit talking his opponents, he's belittling them, he's
He's also
he's
threatening
getting
to kill them.
yeah, he's getting a little bit more sadistic. He he just it comes off as like a darker version of a Super Saiyan form. And that was what Super Saiyan supposed to be. It was Goku at his most angriest and just being done with it. And then it's just a transformation. But Super Saiyan 4 is actually like completely alters Goku's character, somewhat alters Goku's character. And Ultra Instinct Goku not only gives Goku this like new abilities where he can dodge at will, but it also makes Goku a lot more serious. He's he's silent for the most part. He's serious. He's taking things seriously. So every time he pumps out one form, like every time he pulls that form out, you just know that like shit's about to go on. Ultra
Yeah.
Ego makes Vegeta crazier. It gives him that ability. yeah, it gives him that ability to not only get stronger through taking damage, but it alters Vegeta's personality too, where he's just indulging in this. Now, this is where they started to go a little bit off track because you see Granolah go super cerulean, and then he somehow said, "Well, you may be more experienced than me, but I'm going to, through this fight, I'm going to gain experience and I'm going to be overpowering you." And I'm like, wait, what? How can you gain experience in one fight? But he didn't like,
They're
instead of
they're okay. Okay, you can, but not the way they're talking about. Like in one fight, yes, you can actually learn your opponent's moves. You can actually learn your opponent's move and figure out how to counter them. Hell, the anime with Goku versus Hit did this. As stupid as that was, that Goku had hired Hit to kill him, and as stupid as I thought that plan was, that was an instant of actually learning in one fight.
but here's the thing.
Like learning and like gaining experience of like I said,
But here's the thing that the
it's
original fight set out to
how
be.
they're saying it, not the way they're saying it.
See, the thing is, they fucked that up because Grona wasn't a fighter. He's a sniper. His specialty comes in sniping. So when you pit a sniper against a fighter in a fighter's comfort zone, the fighter should be coming out on top.
But
And
yeah,
the
I was about the whole experience. The thing is not about power. It's just messing.
yeah, but I was going to say that I can forgive
Yeah, there.
because I'm hearing you. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was going to tell you that it wasn't just a battle between two warriors. It was a battle between a sniper posing as a fighter and a fighter. So I like here's the thing. I get what they were doing, like, and I get what they were doing, and so I can forgive them for it to some degree. But again, it should have been Vegeta with his new form beat Granolah, and instead of killing him, he started explaining to Granolah then that all these things like we are not the enemies, we are not what you think we are, etc. But basically, Vegeta should beat Granolah and then explain to him, and then try to get through to Momonai to stop the fight. But Vegeta's about to beat him within the inch of his life or whatever. So, but the way they did is like Granolah was like beating the shit out of Vegeta. Then Goku interfered, and then Vegeta popped back in only to get his ass beat even more. And then it was about to end on a draw with Granolah killing himself and Vegeta. And then Monato stopped it to say, "Oh, it's Bardock." And I think I talked about it in the stream where it makes no sense for Granolah to it makes no sense for Granolah to stop being like, you know what, I don't hate the Saiyans anymore. Because this one Saiyan saved me, even though these other Saiyans tried to kill my people and killed all of my people. But as long as one Saiyan spares Granolah, I guess every Saiyan is good now. And Monaito didn't. I guess they explained the reason why, but it's just a weird way to end it. You know, Granolah should still be mad at Vegeta. He should be even more mad at Monaito. You and I've brought this idea before. Monaito can start trying to like can like can continue his fight with Vegeta, and Vegeta comes out on top and then stops it. Or Mentalik, you there with me, right? Mentale? Hello? Banjo. Market. Yeah, what's up, piece of shit? Don't you have anything to do? You know what? Why am I even asking that question? My bad.
Hello,
Hold
can you
up.
hear me now?
I can hear you.
I hate this. I really hate this. Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's raining. It's storming out. Great. So that's why my net's acting up. Fuck.
Niggas are blocking my channel. Anyways, I was going to tell you. Um, how much did you hear me?
Huh?
How much did you hear me?
Uh, about the Monito thing, about how it should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, about when you about to start explaining how it should have happened.
Okay, well, I was about to say like the way they should have done it, like Vegeta, like Granolah should like still resume his fight, and Vegeta beats him just to give Vegeta his victory, which he should have gotten. But I can forget it for two, like I can forgive it for two, like for one reason. Vegeta was not trying to kill Granolah, and like the guilt was still haunting him to, which was like what was inhibiting that form of his to function properly. Basically, Vegeta's mindset was not what it should be, and therefore,
Here's the thing. Here was the thing. At first, I was like, Vegeta should be. I remember when this chapter first came out, I was like, dang, they made Vegeta take another L. But after like thinking about it a bunch, after thinking about it some more, it wouldn't have really mattered if Vegeta or Granolah won,
I know. I think it's more of a
because the
draw,
thing
and
is, I'm rooting for. Because the thing is, I'm kind of rooting for. Because the thing is, when you read the story, you're kind of rooting for both of them.
well, how do I say it? I don't think Vegeta was trying to win, and his guilt was like making his form like not function properly. At least that's the thing I got initially, and then
Yeah.
they fucked it up by the later end of it. But that's what my point was. Um,
This
Granola, not
and
Vegeta.
that's what. This is
My,
the first time. That, yeah, masturbate. And this is the first time in a Dragon Ball fight I actually could. This was the first time in a Dragon Ball fight I could not pick which side I wanted to win.
but again, like Vegeta should have won, no problem. But I guess he didn't. But here's another thing, and I just want to get away from the from the arc for a second. I want to talk about these other idiots. I brought up Masako, right? Masako had a problem with
Yeah.
Granola hating the Saiyans, even though the same people were ravaging his planet. Even though the same people were like showed up at his planet, according to him, to like assassinate him. And even though
The Saiyans aren't good people.
no,
Gine
I
was the
want to
oddball among them. What does he
no,
mean?
Masako was saying, why is Granola not listening to reason? He's fighting the Saiyans, and one of them was like straight up threatening to kill him and his entire planet, while also making fun of his people. Why should he be listening to him? So the whole fucking thing just falls apart. His argument is, uh, if I don't know what you have to do with Masako. I think you have to like put a mirror. I don't know. I He doesn't get the point even if it slapped him in the face with it. I don't know. So oh my god, I'm going to fucking hate this motherfucker here. So
Who?
well, the guy some showed up. I know him in real life. I don't know, but anyways,
Uh,
um, so I just that's all I wanted to say. Then I'm moving on from this. It's getting dumb after this. So Gas turns out to be the strongest being in the universe. Gas has a problem with Goku, looks like Bardock, and that is where the story went from Vegeta story to Goku story all of a sudden for no reason.
um,
And basic,
um, I'm just gonna say this: replace Bardock with Shadow, and replace um
well, I was going to tell you that,
Gas with Infinite. Of all
yeah, like,
possible one,
see, no. I was going to tell you, Gas, not Gas, but Bardock just like turned out to be like even though he's like killing a bunch of people, he's like I'm going to save this woman and her kid because they just remind me of my wife and my other son. Then
but
there's
you
another
killed
part of
his mother. You they killed his mother. That's stupid.
then then there's a part where he's like helping all of them, even like the Namekian from Eaters. If people had a problem, like here's the thing, Dragon Ball Super Broly had Bardock say, "I want to save a life for once or for a change." But then you see him save life for a change even before he saved his own son. They're fucking up, and that's simply because of the fact they want to make this about Goku.
He said he wanted to save the planet because
Here's the thing.
if he would just said I didn't want to kill if he just killed the mother not knowing she had a kid and then saw the kid was like the fuck whatever I done I
See,
could buy that.
I don't have a problem with Bardock being a good guy. I think
I
this
mean
one
it's just it's been badly.
I like I like this version better. Not to say he's interesting or anything, but it just fucks up Goku's story. He's supposed to be a guy who he's supposed to be the exception to all these other Saiyans. If he has like nice parents, then of course he turns out to be the nice guy. And what does that say about Raditz? So Raditz is the black sheep of the family, and they're doing this after like they're doing all of this shit after they straight up killed Raditz and have him be a murderous piece of shit.
And then we get to the oh no we ain't getting there yet because I'm going.
But anyways, moving on, I'm
I'm
not
going.
going to be anymore.
All right.
So
Because it's only gonna
Bard,
get because it's only gonna it's all downhill from here.
So Bardock's a nice guy. Bardock's a nice guy all of a sudden. Then Gas showed up and wished to be the strongest being in the universe. And he like was like hinting at I'm going to do another thing while I get the Dragon Ball. Then like Gas fights Goku for a second, then Vegeta gives Granolah the Senzu bean, and then Granolah fights Gas. And again, should be like the final fight. It shouldn't last as long as it did. Granolah should beat Gas because Granolah has more experience than Gas. So, and this could be like a way, like a point of experience and skills outweighs sheer power. But then they had to give Gas a transformation, and then after that, like the moment Gas got a transformation, things just went downhill. And that's where it's a typical Toyotaro writing where he loses the plot. He loses the plot badly.
You know the funny thing about the
So
transformation is, now I think about it in hindsight because of how the final form of that transformation looked. I don't think it's actually a transformation. I think it's just him rapidly aging.
no, that's not what I'm talking about. That came afterwards, way afterwards. This
No. I
one
mean,
is
like the transformation. I think is like a rapid is like a case of the rapid aging.
no. It's not that. It's basically it. How do I say it? You remember like Bojack's power where he got like super buff and he has or not even that. You know like Frieza's power where he had like a
Yep.
certain percentage power, 50% and then
Yep.
100%. It was a lot like that initially.
Okay.
Gas the power up. It wasn't a transformation. It's more of yeah. Sorry, it was a transformation, and the whole transformation is having downward horns or something.
It's more like
But
steroid power transformation,
yeah,
like a KO type transformation.
the sad thing is, Gas didn't need to have a transformation. I don't know why they went with a transformation. It's like Moro. Moro didn't need to have a transformation, but they did it
Hell,
anyway.
Granolah showed you don't need a transformation.
Well, Chrono turned Super Cerulean too. He had like two Byakugans instead of one. But yeah, but my point is, Granolah had like Gas didn't need a transformation, and then they gave him this like stupid ass full power because they were hinting at Gas's weakness. And then Gas beat Granolah, and then things just like went downhill. And then Goku fought Gas for two chapters. You can even argue one where
Be right back.
it yeah sure.
Yeah, just keep talking. No, I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. Let me find a way to unblock him, by the way. Okay, so I was going to say that Gas was supposed to be like Gas got a transformation which he didn't need, and then it became just like a long dragging arc at this point where everyone lost like they completely lost the plot. The whole weakness of Gas is basically annoy him to a point where he starts purging out. That's his weakness that they were building up to for like three chapters or something. And then after Bardock beats, and then it's Goku and Vegeta's turn. Again in a Granolah story, Granolah just like went to like missing in action for 4 months now. And Goku and Vegeta fought Gas. Gas beats Goku and Vegeta. Then the whole fucking excuse that I was bringing up for Vegeta not being able to beat Granolah falls apart because you see Vegeta like take too much damage and then he loses. So this form that is built around like a guy that is built around a guy who gets stronger the more he takes damage, takes too much damage and he loses. And it's not even like he feels remorseful for his action because he's actually killing the one of the perpetrators. Somehow he didn't feel a need to have a mind of destruction when he was trying to kill Gas. Then, and this is where this guy comes in, Konosuke, Goku got a new transformation which looks exactly like Ultra Instinct Omen, but it's
Okay,
not Ultra
damn that.
Instinct. Okay, to recap it for you a little bit, and I'm going to make it short and short. Eh, Granola's Gas's weakness is shitty because it just evolves him into saying just annoy him to a point where he's purging and then you beat him. Goku and Vegeta get to fight Gas, and Vegeta lost to Gas because he took too much damage, which makes my entire excuse for Vegeta not being able to beat Granolah completely fall apart. And all of this for Goku's build up to getting his own version of Ultra Instinct, which is just like the which is just like Ultra Instinct Omen, but it's a new transformation and it's a power up. And then because they felt like giving Gas a more power up, Gas got a power up where he's getting older and looks ancient. And everyone at that point was like, just fucking end this arc. Why are they bothering anymore? Then Gas fought Goku, but we find out that Gas is physically weaker but has more power. He has more energy or something, but he's physically weaker or something. He can't take. He's like a glass cannon in a sense. He can dish it out but can't take it. Then Granolah comes back after 4 excruciating months. He comes back, uses his lifespan power to blast Gas away, but didn't kill him. Basically knocks him out. And that would have been like a perfect end to the chapter, like perfect end to the arc where Granolah decides to move past his obsession towards revenge. That would have been a nice way to end the arc. But oh no, things aren't done. They aren't done because Gas sacrifices pretty much his remaining lifespan to get even stronger. And then Goku and Vegeta get Jesus Christ. They both get healed up and use their ultra ego and true ultra instinct power respectively. They still get beat up by Gas, and then Gas finds out after looking at the reflection that he's actually going to die at any moment. Then Frieza shows up, straight up one shot Gas, then reveals his black Frieza form, one shot Goku and Vegeta in their ultra instinct and ultra ego form respectively, and then leaves. And the whole arc is ended in the sense that the whole arc is ended with them saying that Frieza's the strongest in the universe, not Gas, and Granola just having less than 3 years to live, and Monato just stealing the Dragon Ball. The end.
The thing was, I think the other ending would have been better. I'm sorry.
Come again?
I think the other ending would have been better. Gas, basically, Granolah just beats Gas, tells him to get the fuck off the planet. They leave. Done. Because it makes no sense for Gas to even continue fighting now. But we
There
got
are
more. But we got but we got an old Gas kicking Goku and Vegeta's ass for I don't know what reason.
see. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Gas getting older because again he's like a dark reflection of Granola. Unlike Granola,
Yeah.
he's he's getting pushed and pushed into sacrificing the a lot of his lifespan to to get stronger. That is fine with
Yeah.
me. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is
No, no,
the
I
fact.
don't mean no, no. I wasn't saying that I had a problem with him getting older. It was just that the last chapter just did not need to happen because the previous one was a good ending.
See, that's what I'm going to get to. You can cut a lot of this shit that I mentioned. Like they were like building up to Gas's weakness, which is not really a weakness. It's just annoying him to a point where he's purchased, goes out of control. That's the shittiest weakness that I've ever heard of. That's on par with Goku being able to dodge life, like and life energy absorption. Then here's the part of then here's the part of like Gas's transformation before that, which wasn't really a transformation. All it did is like give him like horns that like go downwards. That didn't need to happen. Then Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Instinct Vegeta, why did they show up to fight? It should have been like should have ended with Gas and Granolah. Because again, this entire arc was about Granolah, not Goku. They're trying too hard to make it about Goku. And it really isn't. And the moment it became about Goku, then things just went downhill. Then there's a
Yeah,
part of like Gas should have like the way I would have
like I said,
done it.
Goku just felt.
Gas would get a transformation, but it wasn't that downward horn thing. It would be older Gas because he's sacrificing his lifespan. And then like he starts
Oh
beating up
yeah,
Granolah.
hey, hey, when Gas is fighting Goku, does he bring up how um does he bring up how while he can't kill Bart while Bart since Bardock is dead he can't kill Bardock. He will have to settle for his son instead. They say anything along those lines. Because I mean if you want to include Goku in the fight, there you go.
I think he was just saying Bardock's cooler and Goku's lamer.
Huh?
He was just saying Bardock's cooler and Goku's lamer.
Uh
But here's the thing, even if you add that, it fucking doesn't matter. Why the fuck does it need to be about Goku? It's a Granolah
yeah,
story
yeah.
for fuck's sake. It's a Granolah story, and at most it's a Vegeta story. Goku was just there for the ride. And then they set
Oh,
that up.
and I gotta talk about the wish. I gotta talk about that fucking wish.
Then he's a part of like that's what I was like going for. I would have had like Granolah and Gas be the final fight. Granolah beat Gas because skill outweighs power. Then Gas, who gets pushed by Eleg to sacrifice his lifespan, gets older but is able to beat Granolah. But the fight isn't over yet because Granolah deduces that he's a glass cannon. He's able to hit him at places that it really hurts Gas. Then he like uppercuts him or like teleports him somewhere
Oh,
and then shoots his life energy thing.
I mean, being a
Lifespan blast.
sniper. I mean, being a sniper. Yeah, that. Oh my gosh, that would have been
And
a great antithesis, right though. Like, like a sniper who can attack at a range at a distance against a glass cannon. Yes, yeesh.
that should have been the end of that. But what they did is give Goku a
Like, if they didn't
transformation.
want Granolah, like I'm gonna say this, if they didn't want Granolah to kill Gas, I'm fine with that because that's not what Granolah wanted. Because
Yeah,
that's not here's the thing. Granolah wanted revenge, but seeing what it could lead to, yeah, I can see why
here's the
he
thing.
like spared Gas. Huh?
Like that, what I was going for is Granolah beat Gas, but the fight isn't over yet because Gas shows up because it either Gas shows up or I would have had it be the fight. But if you had to do if Maybe it's just overkilling it, and I wouldn't have done it. But Vegeta basically be the one to kill Gas, be the one to deal the killing blow. But even then, even that is like doing too much. Granolah and Gas should be the final fight, and that should be the end of it. Now, if you want to give Vegeta a W, which because again this story is as much about him as Granolah, I would have had Vegeta save Granolah from Gas's attack or something, and then use his alter ego, and then Hakai's Gas. I would have never in my right mind have Frieza show up, introduce a black Frieza form, kill Gas, and then leave after one-shotting Goku and Vegeta.
Also, 10 years. How the fuck is Goku? If people were complaining about consistency with Granolah getting the shortcut, the only way Vegeta and Goku are going to catch up to Frieza now, they would have to get a shortcut.
You know what? You know what?
What?
I would this is what I'm going to argue. Like, I don't have a problem with Frieza getting a new transformation or a power. I think he wasn't bad here at all. If anything, I would blame how it's done. In the sense that
Again,
it
again, Frieza is 10 years ahead of Goku and Vegeta. Remember what 4 months did?
well, you know, remember when we like had this discussion where
Yeah,
Frieza was I like yeah, remember when we had this discussion where Frieza trained in 4 months to reach Super Saiyan Blue level, and then he stopped
yeah,
training. And we
yeah,
were like, why did he stop training if that is like a power up he's going to get? So I don't have a problem with them trying to remind us that Frieza if can get stronger than we think he can. But the general consensus of the problem is it isn't needed here. And that's the part everyone seems to like is that Frieza shows up, beats everyone, then leaves. That's the most horrible thing I've ever seen. That's like on par with the Black Goku saga ending.
yeah.
And imagine this, just imagine it. Frieza gets to kill a Frieza gets to kill a main antagonist, Vegeta can't, and everyone still thinks that Goku is the main character, and therefore Goku should be the one. Even though this is the same story where Gohan got to beat Vegeta in the Saiyan saga, not Goku, but Gohan, when he
Yeah.
turned into a great. He didn't even
Now,
use Goku.
now, before I get
Gohan,
to that stupid weird stuff, I did want to bring up this. As
just a second.
if the movie is trying to set up Gohan to be like a chance against Frieza, I actually would not mind that.
You know, my general point is Gohan gets to beat the final villain thrice. There's Vegeta in the Saiyan saga after he turned into a great ape. Then
Yeah,
there's Cell, and then there's Cell Max. Zeno gets to kill Goku Black. Android 17 gets to win the entire whole tournament of power. Who's left? Frieza
oh yeah.
gets to.
Now I think about it, Piccolo has been a main villain. I think Tien has been a villain. How do you think of Yamcha has been a main? Even
I don't
even
remember,
Oolong has beaten the villain.
but here's the thing. Goku. Oh my God. Frieza gets like if you want to give which like Frieza some credit to beating the main antagonist with Goku, you like if you don't want to count that, then you can definitely count this. Frieza gets to beat a main villain, but Vegeta can't. and somehow
I need
people
Gohan
still.
gets to be the main villain, but you said Frieza gets to be the main villain, but Vegeta can't.
And people will still make excuses. Oh, Goku's the main character. Fuck off. This is getting
You
people
know
just.
this will be the second time Frieza beat the main threat. The other time was with Goku in the Tournament of Power.
And I think I brought this point too. Totally not Mark. He was talking about how like this is not about Vegeta winning. It's not about a character winning or losing, but it's a fucking battle manga. It's fight centric. They're constantly pushing this idea that Vegeta gets to beat. Sorry, Vegeta is on Goku's level. But how can you know? Because Vegeta's always losing to people and Goku isn't.
And anytime Goku loses, it's even contrived because holding back. Or I don't know what the bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. The Winnie the Baltamo character. You're telling me Goku couldn't even beat that motherfucker?
I want to mention this too. Frieza showing up, getting a new like I don't have a problem with Frieza getting a new power up. I don't even have a problem with Frieza at all in this chapter. But it's
I
poor
think.
timing.
Wait, what's Baltamo that there? Oh.
It,
Huh?
it it's just overdoing stuff for the sake of overdoing stuff. No point to it whatsoever.
Well, I mean, Cell Mass pretty much killed the Cell hype. So I guess they went back to the Frieza hype.
I mean, they, everyone's liking that chapter, but it's like this just proves my point. These people don't understand the story. It's supposed like you set up something in the start and then you pay it off by the end.
Like,
But
like, like right when and this is the funny thing. This is right in the point where Dragon Ball fans could have had an argument about Dragon Ball actually having a deep, like actually having more to its story, because this actually brought up some themes in this story. But no, they went back to it being just a bash fight.
here I want to add this too. Like they were like talking about how Vegeta no sorry not like I like here's the thing when like Whis remember like when Goku transported gas to Whis' place and then the
Yeah,
Oracle Fish said, yeah, that's not the strongest in the universe and Whis was like confused. This is what they were setting up to.
either that or Gohan.
Frieza trained for 10 years and he's still not the strongest being in the universe that they were talking about, or at least implied to be. Then the Ultra Instinct thing, and I think it's time we wrap a lot of this stuff up. So the Ultra Instinct thing, I'm not going to blame this arc for that. I'm going to blame the moral saga and the way it's written for that. Remember when, like in Tournament of Power, Goku couldn't use that power at will, and he needs to be
Yeah.
pushed to the brink of death to be able to use it. And they
Hey,
were protecting that form enough to not even use it in the Broly saga.
yeah.
So
Hey,
he come again, Mentalist.
I was gonna say this about the Vegeta and Goku rivalry thing before you get to that other point. I don't think even the series take it that seriously because they have tried to replace Vegeta twice, and only once did it actually work. Because the thing was, there was the hit thing where Whis made the where Whis made a joke about Hit being Goku's new rival. And then there was when Goku was fighting Gohan and he was saying that he wanted where the opponent, but he forgot about Gohan. And I'm like, Vegeta was right there. You saying Vegeta wasn't worthy of him?
I was going to get to the point of
Huh?
I was going to get to the point of like Ultra Instinct,
Yeah.
like having Goku master both the forms of Ultra Instinct is a mistake. If they wanted to do something about Goku being able to beat Moro, it is that he should have used Ultra
Yeah.
Instinct Science, nothing more than that. Save the silver form for much later, much later, in fact. And a lot of these people don't understand by having that form and be like having that form be accessible to Goku in Moro Saga. You just
I
making
just like,
it more.
yeah. I will say this. I found one chapter 86 hilarious when Goku used the Susanoo. When Goku used basically the Susanoo, but not to attack Gas, but just to pick him up and throw him to the sun.
Yeah, that's the conveniability. Why couldn't he use it before with Granolah or something? But see, that here's my point. With the true Ultra Instinct form, right?
Yeah.
It's a product what the Moro Saga was basically setting it up to be. I and that थोड़े बहुत है.
Yeah.
Like by having such an overpowered form be introduced much like by the time the story is not even ending or nowhere near as close to ending, you're
Yeah.
just writing it in a corner at this point. And that's like remember like I think with Jiren they wrote themselves in a corner by having a guy stronger than his god of destruction to a point where you had to introduce Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
And now what you're doing with Ultra Instinct is that you introduced him around like not even at the part where the story is anywhere near too close to finish. And
Yeah.
then you're writing yourself in a corner because you can't just have Ultra Instinct overpower every single character that he gets to fight. And you basically where like here's the thing, where does Goku go from here? He needs to have like more Ultra Instinct power ups or something. Where like instead of Goku learning and mastering Ultra Instinct form, now he's trying to use it as a technique, and then he's also trying to use him like now he's finding his own unique path of Ultra Instinct, which would have been interesting if it was if that true Ultra Instinct form was like if that true Ultra Instinct form was say for much later off and doesn't
Yeah.
look like Ultra Instinct Domin. It says something about your form and people were debating if it's a new form or an old form.
I remember one time I watched Mr. Fusion video and he brought up a point, like it was the one about the superhero movie, and he brought up a point that transformations were a mistake. And I'm sorry, and I kind of agree with him now
Which one are you
because
talking
if
about?
uh,
Who you're talking about?
oh Mr. Fusion, the guy who did
I
like the Dragon Ball dissection videos.
let me guess. He has a problem with Ultra like Orange Piccolo and Gohan beefs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. These fucking retards. They'll be fine with Goku getting three forms or two forms in one arc, but Gohan can't get a form in like after years and years, and Piccolo can't get a form, even though the last time he ever got a power up was in Cell
No, no,
Saga.
no,
That's
no, 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 no. This person didn't like transformations like as like even when it came out.
I don't fucking care. He's retarded. Transformations aren't a bad thing, but
But
you
it's
don't.
been but here's the thing, I can see where he's coming from. Like it's been
I don't want to see where
oversaturated.
he's coming. I don't want to see where he's coming from. He's retarded. He
I
spent
mean,
like what?
masturbator. Think about it in Super. There has to be like think about it. Every time there's a problem, there has to be a new. Well, almost every time there's a problem, there has to be a new transformation to counter it. And I think this is mostly in the manga.
See, that's the thing. Like he, if he put, if he like, there are certain forms that should be there, and there are certain forms that shouldn't be there. If we had a problem with true Ultra Instinct Goku, I would have agreed with him because it's not
Yeah,
just a fact of
he doesn't like any version of Ultra Instinct though. And to be honest, I really don't either.
then what are we even going?
UI being a transformation always rubbed me the wrong way. I get why it's a transformation, but it being a transformation still just always rubbed me the wrong way.
You, well, it is a transformation. They've confirmed
Yeah.
it because he's used as a technique and a form. My point is, silver here form has nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that it's being overexposed and it's being showed up too early. It should have been saved for like the second last arc or the last arc. It shouldn't be something
Oh, yeah.
that it shouldn't be something that they do like they give access to Goku this soon in the Moro saga. They're
Especially
bound.
if it's going to get outshined by another transformation.
Well, another thing, they Ultra Instinct. Like here's the thing: the Moro saga, doomed Ultra
Yeah.
Instinct. That form was that form was to be bound. Like that form was bound to be surpassed at that point. And I've made jokes about Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct and whatnot. And look at what they did. You can't have that form just like overpower every milli vanilli out there because that gets boring. You're overexposing that same form in Dragon Ball superheroes to a point when it did come back, it wasn't that like it wasn't that surprising. It wasn't that epic because how can you miss something when it's never gone? Ultra Instinct was still showing in other medias.
As
There's
much as
that.
I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this. As much as I like Super Saiyan 4, I'm gonna say this. As much as I like Super Saiyan 4 and GT, right? I think it should have stopped at Super Saiyan. I think the transformation should have stopped at Super Saiyan 3
No, here's the
because
thing.
one, the whole Gaki thing has been kind of rendered pointless since it was losing the Super Saiyan characters. And two, Goku still has not broken the limits of Super Saiyan 3.
See, I don't I don't have a problem with transformations. One, you needing to you need to sell merchandise. That's the first one. Second of all, transformations are fine if you do something different with it. It shouldn't be just get stronger and get faster and everything else is fine. That's why Ultra Instinct form was epic. It wasn't just a cool new power up for Goku. It gives him the ability. It gives him like these weird axes. I don't have a problem with
No,
Ultra Instinct being a form or even Super Saiyan Blue being a form. My bigger problem is Ultra Instinct Silver haired Goku was supposed to be the highest speed Goku can reach. Or
oh yeah, Master
that
Debater.
form,
Since you brought up that, I remember I was gonna like me and Nasa were gonna do a video of this once. Like we were gonna like I think we did do the video like where we were talking about the like we were ranking all the forms and like how each of the forms had their own like how each of the like how some of the forms had their own differences and stuff. And how like how some of the forms felt more like transformations than the others just felt like oh
well,
his
again,
hair just got
again, like
a different color.
I didn't like Super Saiyan God form that much, but
Oh
and
yeah.
I don't have a problem with transformation. I don't like you're talking about Super Saiyan 3, but Super Saiyan 3 is literally just Goku getting stronger. There's nothing besides the appearance. What does
Yeah,
Ultra Instinct?
but here's the thing about Super Saiyan 3 that the thing is, it's not something he can constantly use.
Well, yeah, but it's like a
It
drop.
actually has a drawback, and there's one he hasn't, and there's one that he seemingly cannot overcome.
See, if your argument is drawback, you know what?
And it's also one he can't use often. Like it's a form he can't use often. Other forms they can use very often. It's why I got sick of blue because of how often it kept being used.
I mean, if you want to argue with palette swaps and whatnot, like Super Saiyan 3 looks visually cool, at least to me. It's but all it is
Oh yeah,
just a
Goku also. Oh yeah, Goku's also more vicious in Super Saiyan 3. That's another thing
see
that I actually
my
like.
point. My point is, besides the form, what does Super Saiyan 3 actually has? It's just Goku getting stronger. But wait, he has a bit where he can't use it for long, which was the same thing for Super Saiyan, by the way. Which was the same thing for
I
like
know that's something I did miss about the original Super Saiyan. But then they were like, yeah, he can overcome it, and he can constantly use it. That I kind of got sick of it. Like
I.
it's like when here's the thing. It's when a form is constantly used and up in my face. It's like, yeah, there's gonna be like because
Again,
I know there's gonna be something that's gonna surpass it.
again, it's not a problem of transformation, but how much they've done it. If your point is like, look at how he got this form in one arc and then it got up in the next arc. Okay, I if that's your point, then yeah, I agree with you. But
But
inherent it's not a inherent problem of transformation. It is just a problem of them upping it one arc after another. True Ultra Instinct shouldn't exist in this arc, and the reason for that is you ultra like y- you've just I want to say this because everyone likes to shit like your favorite Broly, the Broly movie. Say what
yeah.
you want about them. They were ballsy enough to not introduce Ultra Instinct then and there too. They didn't have Ultra Instinct Goku appear at all.
They didn't even have Kaioken or Blue Evolution because, yeah, they actually kept those transformations as limited transformations.
But they were ballsy enough to do it. They were ballsy enough to not give like they were ballsy enough to not get Ultra Instinct out there, even though it would have probably sold more much or something. But they did it in they did it in the Moro saga, and Goku's entire peak in power, Goku's ultimate transformation came at a time when when like Dragon Ball Super story is not even ending, nowhere near as close as finished.
And
So
remember,
what?
and remember, back in the Broly movie, this was after the Tournament of Power movie, after the fact that Goku said he couldn't pull it off anymore.
Yeah. So imagine, but if you're going to have both of those power ups, if you're going to have both of those power ups be introduced in the Moro saga simply for the sake of making your arc matter, obviously it's going to come to this. Obviously it's going to come to this. Like, what else are you going to do? Introduce have Ultra Instinct Goku wreck everyone else? You have to introduce true Ultra Instinct. I
Oh,
don't
but the thing is, now that they introduced True Ultra Instinct, and since Black Frieza actually owned that form, there's gonna be
that
another
form,
form.
that form means yeah. So they've written themselves into a corner. They should have never brought out Ultra Instinct. But Toyotaro and Toriyama, just for the sake of making his arc matter, did that shit, and now they've written themselves into a corner. And
And the
everyone's
funny thing
complaining.
is, they did the same thing with Blue and Golden Frieza, because in that movie, Goku said that Frieza was stronger. The only thing
You know,
was that you know the
you
timeline.
know, you know what? I would
What?
not even do that way. Goku managed to use Super Saiyan Blue. Kaioken is not a transformation. It's a technique that Goku is using on top of that. Blue
Yep.
Kaioken is not a transformation.
No, I said
I
blue
want to,
cow I was just saying. I was just
I
saying
just want
blue.
I just want to say this right now.
Yep.
They've kept like Super Saiyan Blue Goku for like 3 arcs until 3 arcs, or yeah, like 3 arcs until they were like, yeah, let's give Goku a new transformation. They
And
they
yeah, and I said it got old
they
quick.
they they had Goku use Super Saiyan Blue for 3 arcs, then like have it like Goku's like most powerful accessible form. Then introduce Ultra Instinct Omen and Ultra Instinct, but it wasn't accessible, so it doesn't count. So Super Saiyan Blue still remained Goku's most powerful form that he could access, and they even kept it that way in the Broly movie. So when they fuck that up with more, of course, it's going to be fucking subpar. That's what I'm saying. Blue actually remained Goku's most powerful accessible form for a long time,
Yep.
and the whole thing fucked up the moment Ultra Instinct Goku became most powerful accessible form.
Here
So
was
of course,
here's another thing. Here's another thing. The reason why they said Goku kept using blue is because it cost a lot. It cost a lot of like it's easier key control than Super Saiyan than regular Super Saiyan. Okay, and I bought that for a while. And then the tournament of power brought up the fact that he could use Super Saiyan God, which is the weaker form, and how it uses even less than blue. And my thought was like, so why did he kept using blue again?
we we are getting off track, but again, you're talking about blues being like an unnecessary form, but blue was still for a long time remained Goku's most powerful form. Ultra Instinct wasn't. And if you want to argue that Super Saiyan wasn't even like here's the thing, Goku got like Super Saiyan in the Namek Saga, then he got like Super Saiyan, Ascended Super Saiyan, then Ultra Super Saiyan, and then Perfect Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Then in Majin Buu Saga, it got out by Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3.
yeah.
So Super Saiyan Blue at least had the longest tenure of being Goku's most powerful accessible form.
In the anime, like there were like in the manga
GT.
there were variations of blue. There was blue, and then there was perfected blue, and then there was yeah, there were variations of blue.
Yeah, it was just blue and then there was perfected blue. But yeah, like that's the thing. To like my point, and I think we're going off track. I don't know why this whole Super Saiyan Blue thing even came up. But my
Uh,
point is,
was because of
you
the whole because I brought like how I brought up how I didn't like how transformation was being used, and it just like blue was the one transformation I've always had a problem with
my
because it's always set up as the strongest, but
okay.
it's
But
being so used unnecessarily
all
much.
right, all right. I was going to tell you that if you have Super Saiyan Blue, my bad, fucking hell. If you had silver haired form be like Goku's strongest form and he couldn't get anywhere after that level for a long time, I wouldn't have an issue. But again, if that was the case, then there's going to be people who would complain about that form being nerfed and go and demanding Goku to get even stronger or something. But my general point is they shouldn't have had Ultra Instinct Goku be an accessible form in the first place, because after that you've already written yourself into a corner.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you've written
yeah,
yourself into a point where you had to introduce a power up stronger than silver haired form. I don't
yeah.
agree with it. That's the like a true ultra instinct is the most retarded, most unnecessary, and I would even argue the worst form they had.
And even when you think about it, it's probably the laziest because it's just sign.
Yeah, people didn't know that Goku was using silver hair. They legitimately thought he was using sign. So when your true form is not even distinct, people would be confused. But my point is, and we've wasted a lot of time on this, and I want to move on from a bit. They've written themselves into a corner with true ultra instinct, but that is not this arc's fault, but Morosaga's fault. It's Toyotaro and Toriyama's fault for doing it. You should have, just for the sake of grabbing attention and making your arc feel important, not do something like that. Broly didn't even need to do that at all, and that arc was still pretty important.
Yeah. And you wanna know the funny thing is, despite not having UI, they still made it debatable that Broly was stronger
I'm
without
not
them
going to.
using UI.
That's whatever. But here's the thing: I'm going to move on from a bit or from this.
Yeah.
Vegeta,
Ah,
like
yeah.
this saga, like Vegeta, this saga that had like something to do with him, not Goku, ended up becoming the third wheel in this. And that's the problem because this was not about Goku. They made it about Goku, but it wasn't. And if and again, it says something about like Vegeta's ultra. Like I've always like talked about how Vegeta keeps getting mistreated.
Yeah.
Where at least it was better because now he's being competent to Goku. But why does it matter if he can remain Goku's equal but never be able to beat up a villain for once? If Frieza can do it, then why couldn't Vegeta? And these people are acting like it's such a weird problem for us to
Yeah.
have Vegeta get his one big win. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about not even like two or three. Why can't Vegeta, who's always there with Goku and is considered one of the main characters in Super, can't get his one big win, even after getting
Oh
a
yeah.
transformation? The another
Hey,
part is,
man,
yeah, go ahead.
but remember earlier when I said when I brought the Boo saga
Are you cutting off what?
have with the Boo saga, they introduce ideas. They introduce ideas and then give ideas and then get like it's going to be about one character because the Boo arc was originally going to be like Gohan's story, but then they shafted that for Goku. Just like with this arc, they shafted Granolah and Vegeta for Goku. Well, and then they did it for Frieza. Huh. Also has
And
similar to the Black arc too. Huh.
and people are going to say that this is about Frieza as much as it was about like the Saiyans because Frieza, like Corolla was actually going after Frieza. So it would
Frieza
be
was
unfair.
only there for a few minutes.
That's what I'm going to
Frieza was
get
only
to.
brought up. Huh?
That's what I'm getting to is that Frieza was about, yeah, you can say that, but like the most it does is like Frieza should have a cameo instead of like showing up, beat the main villain, and then leaving.
And
And
people said
Fri-
that this was a better ending than whatever than 86. What?
and Geekdom talking about like something about Bruce Lee and whatnot. Fucking hell, Black Frieza just like beating up Goku and Vegeta despite having knowledge about how Goku and Vegeta can get more power from this, can get stronger, and remain. This is the same guy who killed the entire group of like basically wiped off half of his army because he felt like they're going to rebel against him because they keep getting stronger. But he won't do anything to Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, here's the thing. They've been. Here's the thing about that. They've retconned that twice because originally it was just that Frieza just did because he wanted to. Then it was because he feared about the Super Saiyan. Then it was that Beerus told him to do it. Then and they also brought up that he feared about the Super Saiyan God, and I'm like, which is it? Like they keep giving
Here's another,
multiple reasons why Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta. And I'm like, I don't know which story to believe.
here's another. I want to say this thing too, uh, because because just to give with Priest a new form, you basically fucked up whatever you were going with the granola, because the whole story was about revenge not being about everything, and people need to stop like thirsting over power and revenge. They've already fucked up the you can't just take shortcut to being the most powerful. You have to earn it. They fucked it up. And then what they decided to do is like grow up like beat Gareth with this like lifespan blast, and then he leaves alive and say, I'm not going to bother with revenge anymore," which is Gareth's development. And on top of that, it was it was set up to be that way, which paid off. And then Gareth like basically killed Monito, which makes Bruno look like a fucking idiot. He looks like an idiot was pairing Gareth then. So he should have gone for the kill, because at least that would have saved Monito's life. And Gareth, I don't know what to say about him. He serves he serves nicely as a Granolah villain, but they made it about Goku, so why even give a shit?
And then when he looked at himself in the and this was the one point when he could have just been like, "What the fuck am I doing?" When he looked at himself in the when he looked at himself in the mirror and like he was about like and he see that he was closing in on death.
And that was like a nice touch. Like that was like the only thing I liked about it, is that they they actually got to the point of you can't wish to be the powerful and you can't do all like it just shows like a reflection of how much like how do you call it, like that's how much like thirsting for power can do to a man. But
Yep.
they fucked it up a long royally before they even got to that part.
Yeah, but the thing was they brought it up and then they forgot about it a second later.
But
Like why bring up?
then here's another thing. The haters,
Yeah,
besides that, Elix serves like as a nice villain because he's not actually trying to overpower. He works mostly on strategy. And what about Oil and Maki? Well, I can't say anything about them because they're that fucking unforgettable. They're that fucking forgettable. I don't give a shit about them. They're basically playing yes men to Elix. I think they're going to make a lot of hentai out of fucking Maki. But who even gives a shit about them? They're just there.
Here's the thing. I'm probably in a minority, but earlier in the earlier at the start of the arc, um, I actually kind of like Elick as a villain or as an antagonist.
Same here. I thought he was like a villain, but he cares about his family. No, he doesn't. He just forces his brother to die so he can be the ruler of the universe or something like that.
Like he's like the thing was, this is a villain that isn't particularly powerful, but he is so good a schemer and so malicious. Like like he uses others for his own gain, but also has a sense of, but also has like but also had like a sense that he cared about they cared about those close to him.
He was able to play into Gas's revenge
Yep.
First pilot know his place, and the other part use it in a way to attack the Saiyans. Then they were using Saiyans' lust for battle by saying he's the strongest being in the universe
Yep.
to basically rile the Saiyans up into fighting him.
And here was my thing. And here was my thing. Everybody was saying that Eel was going to be like this super powerful villain. I'm like, there was nowhere in the story that even indicated such a thing. If anything, I kind of already knew that Eel wasn't shit.
But moving on, Marky and Doyle were completely useless. Monito is useless. He's just a Bardock fanboy. But
Also,
like,
Masturbate. Frieza said something interesting. Of all the heaters, Eelik was the weakest.
yeah, whatever.
But
It's
they
a
never
line.
showed what the other two could do.
I don't give a shit about what those other two could do. But here's the thing. What yeah, 7-3. He was the one that started this entire saga,
Yep.
and he had jack all to do with it. You would think that Elek, who probably saw through all his memories, saw that Moro absorbed 7-3 to get more
Or
powerful. You considering
yeah,
7-3
or you
has
think
more,
that Eel was going to use 7-3 to become more powerful. But no.
and you know what? It's probably great that they didn't do it because at that point they've already like shit the bed real quick, and anything more is just overproducing it. So might as well put it out there. I don't have a problem with it. 7-3 can go fuck himself. But yeah, what's the point of him? Is he just like a way for them to know about the Dragon Ball?
Mm. But the thing is,
Good.
if they weren't going to use them, then why bring them? It's it's one of those like, if you actually saw that part, it would not like if you actually skipped the part when 7-3 was shown up, you would not miss much in the shadow. Like it was such a nothing thing that's like funny.
You know the funny thing is that by the
What?
time Dragon Ball Super Hero rolled down, it did everything that was like right with Dragon Ball. And again, it was
Yeah.
done by Toei. You can give Toriyama all that praise, but it was again he doesn't give a shit, and a lot
And
of his a lot of his ideas, good ideas, actually came from the producer who wanted it to be about Gohan. So while Toyotaro, who's doing the manga,
yeah,
is using art, which is far more important than superhero, but it's also somehow the the how do I say it worse than superhero
yeah.
because it has the big hitter. It gives Vegeta a new form. It gives Goku a new form. It gives Frieza a new form.
Oh yeah. You
And,
know Orange Piccolo was actually Toriyama's idea.
and it's good, but you know what? I'll still say superhero is far better than this manga. Like this fucking manga, superhero had like
And,
less time this manga had. So this is just wonderful for them.
and the thing was, up until the Cell Max story part, it actually felt like a Dragon Ball story, not a Z story, not a Super story, but a Dragon Ball story.
You know what? I don't like Cell Max either, but at least gave Goku at least gave us like one of the most best animated scene, and that is Gohan transform into Gohan Beast. This
Yeah.
fucking thought, and imagine this. Frieza can get power up out of power ups, but we can't even get Cell back. And if we get him, it's like a bootleg version. So that's just wonderful. But anyways, I don't think there's much to discuss anymore. I think we've pretty much talked about
Wait, did you
everything.
discuss the wish?
I don't want to get into it, but the problem is, yeah, imagine it, like, imagine this, cheapening your entire original story just for the sake of making Bartok look good. Yeah, well,
Even if it was Manito that made the wish, that also has its own problems.
we had to see more of Gas. We had to see Frieza basically wreck Goku and Vegeta, but we can't see a single line of Monaito saying, "I never made that wish, but I'm glad things turned out okay."
Now I say like even like whether Bardock or Manito made a wish, it's bad. But I will say this is funny, right? But I will say if Bardock made the wish, it's it would explain why Vegeta is snapping at Goku saying that he was
I don't
and
fucking care if it
I'm
makes sense or
paraphrasing.
not.
Huh?
I don't give a shit if it makes sense or not. Why is it that this thing, like, why is it that this
No,
saga?
it doesn't. Masturbate. It doesn't make sense, but it's hilarious when you think about it. Remember, Raditz was in Vegeta's group, and there was originally 7 Saiyans. At the
Again,
at the beginning of the Saiyan
again, they didn't bring him back, so why even bother saying that? Another thing I want to say is,
later in Super, we found out
you
Broly and Paragus survived, but we're talking about
no,
Vegeta's group.
but
Raditz
here,
Nappa and Vegeta was
see, that's the thing. I don't. If it goes nowhere, and then I don't care if it makes sense that Raditz, that's why Sarah to survive. I don't shit. I don't. It can. I don't give a shit. I want to say this
no,
right
no,
now.
no. I'm saying it was funny because what if because of the wish because Raditz was so sure Nappa and Vegeta were gonna wish him back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they gave no indication as to why Raditz would think that. So I was like, what if because of the wish, every time Raditz got in trouble, Nappa and Vegeta would have to save his ass?
Well, that didn't work when he was fighting Goku, but I don't want to even hear about this. But anyways, Dave, I guess this is just wonderful for Toriyama and Toyotaro. I'm going to put the blame on both of them, not just one or the other. But both of them just single-handedly made Goku into what do you say? Cheapen everything he went through in the Dragon Ball story, all just for making one character that shouldn't even need that exposure turned out to be a good father after all. So that's just great. So that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, people before said minus ruined the story of Goku, and it did. But this is on a whole other level. And all I'm thinking is
E-
like, what were they thinking when they wrote that?
Every time Bardock appears in the manga, things get worse. So maybe don't have him appear anymore. I guess the only nice thing that I could say about it is that Goku got to remember Bardock, and that's like Goku got to remember his grandfather, which is a nice, which to me feels nice.
Yeah, I feel, yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like I said back then, okay, yeah, I don't mind a good Bardock, even though I still kind of wish it was even though I still kind of wish Goku had his backstory where he was thrown away as a kid and was on a mission to actually and was on a mission to actually destroy Earth. And if Goku would have got his memory back, he would have remembered that mission.
I'll say this: if there's
That
one
would,
thing minus,
huh?
if there's one
Yeah,
thing I liked about minus, it's that it makes Goku not being able to remember his parents tragic in the sense that they sacrificed all their, they basically is like sacrifice all their time with the kid only for them, like only for the kid to not remember them. And you know what?
what?
If they if they didn't have Goku remember that, that would have been like a nice tragedy to it. But The fact that Goku remembers it is kind of bittersweet, but they never went anywhere. So why even give a shit?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the end of our review of the Chrono Saga. Our final thought is Chrono Saga is just like the Moro Saga, just like the Tournament of Power, just like Goku Black and the what is that arc again? Universe 6 Tournament Saga. It starts
Yeah.
off great, then they fuck it up, and they wonder why people just wait for the anime to come back. So,
Even though
and
I
even
like
that,
The Boo Saga is guilty of that too.
you know what? I'll say even say this. Since this manga is on hiatus, good luck for all these Dragon Ball channels to come up with content now because the only thing they have now is heroes.
Yep.
That's
Okay,
wonderful.
that's gonna be something because her Heroes is on a whole other type of what the fuck.
And why the fuck does Toyotaro need like 6 months or something to come with the story? He didn't he have enough time? Like he didn't doesn't he have enough time? He already
Here's the thing, and I think this is also why the Granolah saga started out great, but then ended as badly as the way it did. Because when the moral arc was done a year, like I wouldn't even say a year later, it wasn't even that long after the moral saga that the Granolah saga started.
you know I would not give him that, and that's simply because of the fact that before that his excuse was though he wasn't able to tell his own story, and then he was able to, and then he fucked it up. Then after that he was able to do another story with it, and then he fucked that up, and he was doing a lot. He was doing great stuff with it until Gas showed up. No, not even Gas showed up, but Gas transformed. But and here's another thing I will say, just in support of that, a guy is taking months to draw like a guy is taking months to draw redrawn and traced panels, but he can't spend that time just thinking of a story. And you know what? If you want to put the blame on Toriyama because Toriyama is writing it or whatever, Toriyama is not even doing anything, and you telling me he doesn't have enough free time in him to like think of the next arc. So
And the fact that the manga supposedly followed closer to Toriyama's Cliff Notes doesn't help
yes,
Toriyama's case either.
here's another thing. If the next arc, like, because you think that he's like taking this time to like think of a story that has
Yep.
a like that starts good and lands good, you know what?
Yep.
This better if I'm not going to give them any more the benefit of the doubt. I stopped giving him a benefit of the doubt during the Moro saga, and then I was like,
No. I'm just saying. I'm hoping that's what this 8 months is.
no, no, no,
Because
no,
if
no, no.
if it turns out that after all these 8 months we get uh, um a weak ass story, oh,
Wait,
I ain't gonna burn
just
that mother. I'm gonna burn this manga to the ground.
this is what I was going to tell you.
What?
I had lowest expectation for Granolah Saga because Toyotaro has done nothing to make me believe that he's going to do anything interesting. He's going to fuck up the ending just like he normally does. But you know what? I still was like saying that this was good for the most part, and I even like defended half of the terrible things that they were doing. But and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. Black Frieza Saga is where it took the cake, where I don't fucking trust him anymore. And I don't fucking have enough faith in him where he can take like 6 months and start over again, and it would still be fucking dog shit by the time he comes into ending. But you know what?
But but I'll say this: this chapter is nowhere near as bad as the Moore saga.
This arc is nowhere near as bad as the Moro saga. but the ending is was in the Goku Black Saga. But I was going to tell you,
Oh
and
yeah.
just to finish this off, Toyotaro is like what taking 3 months, 2 months for well, like taking. If he comes back and does the next task and it's the same and it follows the same pattern as the rest of his other manga story, then you know he has no fucking excuses. He's a terrible writer, not a terrible writer, but he's certainly a terrible drawer. He can't draw shit. He has to his entire panels are redrawn and retraced. He can't come up with something original. He has no way of making any of these characters feel strong. Remember, like anime makes like Jiren look epic and Ultra Instinct look epic. In
Yeah.
fucking manga, all people are doing is punching and kicking. So he's terrible at even conveying that. He
And
he's fucking
and
dog
here
shit.
and
And
here's the thing. The reason why he's even in the position he's in is because of Dragon Ball AF, which I'm sorry, but I didn't even
a
like.
terrible that's a terrible story.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same pattern too. He's all
I mean, the
flash
only
and no
reason I got
substance.
fans was because of is because of Psychor. I think that's
Again,
how you
he's
can
all
pronounce it. Even Psychor's just ugh. Like I'm sorry, the concept of Psychor.
come again.
The concept of Psychor just rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, whatever. It's whatever. I'm telling you. I'm going to bet my $100 on the fact that Toyota is going to fuck up an ending again. So good luck, Toyotaro, but I'm not holding any hope for you. You're fucking dog shit.
You know what be fucked up is if they actually with the Dragon AF story.
But anyway, our final
Yep.
thought, Granolah is just like every other manga, Dragon Ball Super manga saga. Starts good,
Absolutely.
but then
Yep.
and all this did is make me just more anxious for the anime to return. But other than that, if you like this stream, wait, Metallic, do you have your last thought?
Yeah, if the anime does return, I think the anime should just do its own thing, like it's
Just do
been
it.
doing.
Yeah. No need to follow
Because
toriyama.
because the thing is with the moral saga, I can tell you. I can think of how you could fix the Granolah saga, but the moral saga, I don't know any way you can fix that.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. These people were saying that they need to follow the manga story because what they were doing is dog shit, but everything they're doing is way better than this. So I don't know what they were liking about this. I think they have terrible taste too, because that's why they like the ending of Granolah Saga, even though they basically pulled a Goku black shit. But you know what? There is no hope for the Dragon Ball community. They're all fucking crayon eaters who can't tell a good story. But we'll talk about the structure and architecture of Dragon Ball and whatever they say. But Geekdom's terrible. He's an idiot. He's making like 6 videos about blackfrieza, a firm that showed for like 6 panels or so, and he's talking about Bruce Lee and whatnot. They're all fucking stupid. But again, if you like this stream, leave a like and subscribe for more awesome content. This is Masturbator, and thank you for Metallic for joining. I'll see
You
you
know,
when I do Dragon AEW review. Bye bye.
this manga